I swear to God, I'm going to take your bow speaker out back. I'm going to shove a firecracker up his ass. I'm going to break it in half and tell you that you are the worst speaker company in the world because your speaker is so dumb it can't detect that it doesn't need to turn itself off while I'm using earphones, and it can't detect that it doesn't really need to turn off the PS5. That's it, though. That's all I'm going to say is your speakers are stupid. Ashen, literally stupid. If you're going to make your speaker into a smart speaker that controls all the other devices that it is secondarily connected to, then you might want to make it smart to begin with, other than half-wit and able to control everything. This isn't like a speaker which is like, oh yes, I should do things. Aha. This is something we should do because it sounds smart to do. This is a speaker where you're putting someone who has a 5-year-old brain behind a bulldozer and you're going to see what happens. That's how smart your speakers are. Bose. So I have to unplug your speaker every time I want to stream. If I forget to, you turn off my streams. Hello, people. Welcome back. I got to start all over because Bose's speakers are, what do you know, dumb as shit. Hold on while I find my live. Is this it? Yeah, this is it. Okay, we're going to start all over again. Welcome to Marvel Rivals. This is the end of Season 0, so we're going to do a thing where I think at the beginning and ends of these seasons, we're going to go in and see what was new, what happened, what we know about the storyline. Unlike Fortnite, the storyline doesn't evolve during the seasons, but we really didn't do a storyline preview, a full storyline review of all of Rivals during the Season 0, since we kind of came in towards the end of it. So we thought we'd grab it here at the end of Season 0, and then we'll do a one for any updates in Season 1 that we see, as well as play any in the new season. What we're going to do is, if I have the time, we're going to talk about all the story that we know, and we're going to talk about, we're going to play every single character just to show what the characters offer. Next season, it'll be a little shorter. We'll talk about the updates to the story, and we'll play the new characters that show up. Of course, we won't only pop in on Rivals during that time. If I feel like it, we may pop in Rivals just to play. Just the missions, because it's fairly a fun game. No, I'm not abandoning Fortnite, but I can play more than one game for fun. Here we see what appears to be Tokyo 2099, or a mixture, because I'm not sure. This is probably that tower, actually. It looks like the Stark Tower, but this is probably the other tower, the Medical Corporation we'll get familiar with in a minute. Watchdog. So basically, base story behind all this is two Dooms from two timelines were screwing around with inter-reality travel, or inter-timeline travel, when their two experiments clashed. Had only one of the Dooms been doing an experiment, it would have been okay. But because the two Dooms were doing the experiment, they entangled timelines, and the timelines that became trapped inside their entanglement started crashing into each other. This caused rifts in realities to fall apart, and other things to happen. Creatures, gods, and people from one reality could leak into the other and corrupt things. What we're going to do is we're going to go through each character, which is 3 pages so far. It's got a fairly large list of characters, and talk about their story, what they are to the storyline, and what they've done so far. First one, we're going to do Adam Warlock. Adam Warlock, originally from a Guardians series, and known best for the movie, The Last Guardians movie, where he was actually a pretty fun character, is a technically godlike being of life and magic. In the lore, we went through some of this before the dumbness of Bose shut down my PS5. Adam felt the entanglement coming and cocooned himself to protect himself. As he drifted through the cosmos, he started speaking to other deity-like beings as he did so, and they woke him, and he drifted through realities. Odin's the one to let him know that there was an evil coming that was darker than Loki's treachery. He talked to Bast in intergalactic Wakanda, um, and he sensed Bast's corruption. And where we stopped off, he was talking to a Celestial. Again, I don't know if it tells you which Celestial it is. It just says the Celestial is dead, and what he's talking to is an echo of his conscience, and that the Celestial was killed by the darkness that uh, he's being open to fight. And Null, that's his name. So Null is technically a symbiote, but even more than that, he is the creature that existed before all existence. He is the darkness. We've had interactions of him before in other fictional lore. In uh, in Elder Scrolls, he's Sithis, the Nothing, the Void. In the Darkness, which is a Top Cow comic, he is the Darkness, a creature slash set of superpowers that get passed down from father to child in at the time belonged to Jackie Estacado. In this form, Null is once he became something because the reality was created while he existed, he became what is now known as symbiotes and was the most powerful of all and got locked away. So Adam, on his story, is sent to Clintar to try to fight Null. So yeah, there's one of the places you go to. I forgot. I need to speak about all these over again, don't I? Because freaking thing. There are several places you can go to in this area, and they have the stories. In 2099 Tokyo, a rift has opened up in the sky, threatening to shatter reality. Spider-Man Zero looks to close the rift using magic of alt reality, web slingers, while his master, the Master Weaver, looks to tap the power and strengthen the web of reality. One believes closing the rift to the Clash is a waste, so one believes tapping into the power of the Clash is a danger. And then there's Penny Parker, who wants to take her technology and plug it into the entanglement. Why? I don't know. I don't know if it's ever actually explained. I haven't got to Penny's stuff yet. In Asgard or Ysgard, which is an alternate version of Asgard, Loki is taking their father's own sleep, which is his weird magic coma, to join with Hela in an effort to take over and command the realm successfully. Thor leads a revolt in an effort which includes war, all-out war, and includes a trying to power Yggdrasil. In Galactic Wakanda, which is an alternate version of Wakanda, and may exist in the 2099 reality from what I've seen in these stories, Bast has stopped talking to the Black Panther correctly, and it appears it is corrupted. There's several instances where there's some kind of corruption, and I'm not clear if this corruption is from Null or from the Hell creature. In Clintar, a great evil, or Null, is to be born unless heroes can seal it away. On one side, the Supes tried to seal the symbiote underground, and in the other one, the heroes or Supes try to stop the symbiote from being sealed until it is born, allowing Null to be born. In the Hydra base, or Hell, it's not really clear if this is actually inside Hell or if it's just a Hydra base that's very volcanic. There's a battle being fought. One side looks to end Hydra, while the other looks to wake their god being. We already know that modern NYC US is being overrun by vamps on these stories, but does not exist. But it does look like it is part of next season's story, so we'll look at that when that comes about. But that may include Dracula, and who knows, maybe we'll get to Morb. Do you want to Morb? I want to Morb. Can we get Matt Smith? I want Matt Smith. Is that something we should ask for? Matt Smith and Morbius. The main characters in the dimensions are, of course, Adam Warlock, which we're seeing here. The next, Adam Warlock has a few alternate. There's a few alts I won't be able to show you all because I didn't collect them, and they went away. They're mostly galactic. The alts here is Adam Warlock from the MCU. This is the Adam from the movies. Of course, he looks a little different because it's based off his form in game. and not the actual actor. It'd be cool if they just based it off the actor, but maybe they have to freaking get his permission. I don't know. And then we have Cosmic Jade, which has something to do with worshiping Adam in the far reaches, where they use Cosmic Jade as a worshiping tool. It's unclear if this is an alt form of Adam or a just a Adam wearing different colors. So this Adam appears to have been born from the entanglement, since it says Marvel Rivals. After Adam, we have Black Panther. While he gazed out over the landscape of the intergalactic empire of Wakanda's homeworld, King T'Challa paused for a moment to marvel at what his people had built. So what this is T'Challa in this full world, which may or may not be in 2099. I do believe it is, but I'm still unclear, because I am not, that well versed in some of the Marvel series. Runs his own empire, intergalactic empire. It includes a bunch of worlds. It does not appear to include, if it is 2099, it does not appear to include Earth, because Earth is not run by Wakanda, but it does include a ton of different worlds inside its empire. Now, if you're at all versed in Black Panther, you know Black Panther has a god named Bast, a female panther goddess. She seems to have gone silent for T'Challa for a while, though according to some other story I read, it seems that his sister, Shuri, has first noticed the corruption to Bast. And so at this point in time in the intergalactic, he is dealing with the Doom. If they're in 2099, they're likely dealing with the 2099 Doom right off. But he's being contacted with both Dooms on the side of war. He's being begged by both Dooms to join their side, that their side will actually solve the entanglement issue. But, the King of Wakanda knew better than to trust Ida Doom. But he is looking for Bast, because Bast, the gods, usually guide him on what to do and what he should do. Here we do know that Shuri appears to be involved in research into what is known as chronovibranium. So when the entanglement hit, it created a new mineral, a new natural mineral named chromium, which is some kind of time-space mineral that affects time and space. But within the leaks within Wakanda's area, it creates chronovibranium, which is a mixture of both by their super metal, which is pretty much indestructible, and chrono. We do know that Shuri is working with alternate realities of Stark and a few other scientists to try and create a device to stop the entanglement, and she believes that chronovibranium is the key. But surprisingly, the King of Wakanda isn't really happy about just offering all their stuff to the foreign alt realityers. Here at the end, he finally gets a voice reply from Bast. But he notices that her words ship him in darkness. It is unclear if Bast itself is being corrupted by Null or by the Hell creature that we have very little story on right now. But something has corrupted Bast. Now the question is, does he serve Bast still, or does he turn against her? And we don't know exactly how that goes yet. So this is the original skin you'll get if you buy any other skins. It's just basic Black Panther. Wakanda doesn't look any different. Honestly, I would say this is just basic, regular, modern Black Panther. I like his spine. That was cool. This is known as Galactic Claw. Now, this first showed up in the Entanglement, so the question here becomes, is this an alternate reality version of him, or is this just his warrior uniform for his intergalactic space? Also, since he seems to have a visor right here, is it still strong? This is Oshira Blood. This actually shows up in 2018 Marvel Comics. Sorry, my cat's Mellow's gone cocaine giddy over here. She's running everywhere. Did you get it, Mellow? Did you get whatever you were chasing? Did you get the hallucinations? Did you find your nose candy? Oshira Blood appears to be a special super powered vibranium. It's even stronger than the regular vibranium. It's his life best vibranium done by boxing hordes, stones from Wakanda Necropolis, and armor of metallized Orisha blood. It has anti-magic defense, and it's called the Red Panther. And lastly, we have this one, Vast Chosen. This is actually not our Black Panther. This is the original Black Panther. His name is Bashinga. Bashinga was the original Black Panther that Bast chose way back in the ancient days of Earth. You can see that instead of wearing vibranium or anything, he's just dressed in animal skins and bones. Black Widow. Now this Black Widow is interesting. Whereas he's from, who knows, that he's from maybe 2099, but we're going to call him from Intergalactic Wakanda since we're not positive. She is from definite 2099. But she has a reason. Natasha is from technically the modern era of the 2099 realm. She is still alive because she started taking super soldier serum experiments that kept her youthful. She's still like 25 in body, even though she's 100 and something years old. According to her story, she's been fighting against their 2099 doom, and during the whole Doom Marvel War, I guess. And she's currently in Tokyo, which is under the grips of a corrupt police force known as the Eye or something like that. I don't remember. And she's in right here, just prior to all the entanglement, she's actually in spying on a local Tokyo Islands medical company or pharmacy company, which appears to have some kind of, what's it called? Where's it at? Alchemax, there it goes. Which has top secret things in it, which, you know, usually pharmacy companies don't unless their name is Umbrella. She gets down to the basement and she finds Captain America sleeping. In 2099, Captain America was never awoken in the modern era. Instead, he was taken by corrupted forces. And I don't know if it was Alchemax from the beginning or if he's been passed to Alchemax throughout the years. But he's been asleep from World War II's freezing incident up until 2099 when Natasha wakes him up. And that's the really big thing here is she wakes up Captain America and they escape. That's her story so far. This Bruce Banner actually doesn't, just like Natasha doesn't have an entanglement story yet, this Bruce Banner story is more interpersonal. Bruce has, of course, always been looking for ways to control or understand his change. Instead of trying to cure it, which a lot of the Bruces have been doing, he's just looking to control it, and that's when he created this belt. This belt helps him to change on his own terms, as well as control and power the Hulk. It gave him a bunch of his new powers. The Hulk's clap is now super strong compared to what it used to be. The Hulk shout, or gamma shout, releases a gamma radiation. Everybody's calling it the gamma loogie. It is something we've seen him have before, actually. but it's just now in this lore. In this lore, he tests the belt. It becomes the Hulk testing the belt. Then the Hulk figures out that the belt can be overpowered with further gamma radiation leading from his body, leading him to look like this. Super Hulk. Just a big old monster. This is what he didn't want to turn into, is the big Hulk. He wants to turn into this, the regular controlled Hulk with a mind, and be able to go back and forth as he needs. Now, he does figure out during the experiments that when the belt's destroyed by the Hulk's, being the Hulk, he does turn straight back into Bruce Banner, since he wasn't changed by anger, but by the belt. Oh, I forgot Natasha's other forms. I forgot his other forms, for that matters, didn't I? Oh, no, I didn't. I just forgot Natasha's other forms. So Natasha's alts are MCU, Natasha, the white suit. She got a booty, by the way. It's one thing this game is not afraid to do, is make his characters look good and include a little bit of realistic physical physics, which are mostly seeable right now on Squirrel Girl. We also got Lethal Toxicity, which is an alternate form, but futuristic looking Natasha. It does say she's from Entanglement, so she may be by the looks of it, by the way it says Space Seer, actually may be from Intergalactic Wakanda or something, we're not sure. Very digital looking suit, colors are very 80s cyberpunk-ish. His alts include Green Scar Hulk. If you're not familiar with Green Scar Hulk, I just skipped that. Skip. Oh, that was a skip. That was a fire. So Green Scar Hulk, if you're not familiar with him, is a Hulk that was left on a planet to rule through his powers. He is a little more intelligent than Hulk because he stays in his Hulk form most of the time, so he allowed Banner's mind to become part of him. I don't know if he ever really turns back into this Banner. In this form, he also has his super form, which allows him to look like this. And then we have Gamma Bomb Hulk, which is an alternate reality Hulk. In this reality, the Hulk was created during a Gamma Bomb experiment that went wrong, and he got caught in the middle of the explosion, still allowing him to become the Hulk, but a grayer looking Hulk. Then we have Captain America. Oh, and this Bruce Banner, as far as you know, is from Modern. We have Captain America. This Captain America is actually from 2099. He is not modern day Captain America, which may be dead by the looks of the other storylines I've seen from a few other characters. The modern Captain America may be dead. I don't know if that's like post-Civil War, where Captain America takes a bullet to the brain one final time, or something else. What you dragging around? Kitty Witty, you wanna play? Come here. Woo. Okay, hold on, guys. Play pause time with the kitty. Gotta play with the kitty. Gotta run her. Gotta run her. Over here. You can't see what I'm doing, but I got one of those little cat toys with the ropes on a stick, and she loves it. What's the matter? Did you tire yourself out from all the cocaine running? So what do we say about doing the cocaine, huh, kitty? You do the cocaine and then you're pooped afterwards. Okay, she's tired. She's a sleepyhead. There you go. There's your toy. Do you want it like a dog? This is exactly what you want to do, little panther. Oh, and now we're going to have pooper noises. Hey, no biting. You're making her make cougar noises. Can't you just cuddle like a normal cat? Don't chew on her. Playing doesn't mean with her teeth, madame. You're such a good girl, Squeaky. So this is Steve Rogers, but he's been asleep from World War II until 2099, which explains his more futuristic clothing that looks like Iron Man tech almost. We're not entirely sure who made his outfit. We do know that this vibranium is crafted in intergalactic Wakanda, and there's a good chance that his suit also comes from that, even though it looks a lot like Iron Man tech. In his lore, he takes a alt reality Bucky, and wherever whichever this alt reality Bucky is from, we don't know, and alt reality Hawkeye, and he takes them to intergalactic Wakanda. Again, these are not his Bucky and Hawkeye. They've been possibly long dead. We don't know exactly what happened to them in his reality, but he takes them to Wakanda to start gathering heroes in an effort to fight both the entanglement and the other villains that are incoming. Mellow, chill. You make Squeaky sound like Cougar. You two are such kids. They're both my kids, cats, and they act like siblings. It's funny. This is the only thing. This is the only one Mello will do this with. She knows she will overpower her, even though she tries to play he's a big boy, and she will not mess with Mama Cat. She only plays with Squeaky, even though Squeaky sounds like she's gonna eat her. So you know you're scared of Squeaky, you know Squeaky nice. She's sitting there trying to paw her. Paw, paw. Touch. 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 Nibble on the tail. She's sitting there just slightly touching her and the nibbles on her tail. And Squeaky sounds like an angry cougar. Anyway, as we start out, Bucky's getting some surgery done to him to help him. Bucky's just freshly out of Hydra control, I think, here. It looks like Hydra took re-control of him or something like that, and did something to his arm. It had to do with tentacles. When they head to intergalactic Wakanda, they are greeted, and things are going okay until Bucky gets close to the Bast statue. Then both Bucky and Bast start glowing red, and Bucky attacks them, and his arm becomes all tentacly. It's obvious that Bucky's being controlled by some foreign influence, and the redness makes me believe that maybe Bast isn't being controlled by Null, but by the Hell creature. The hell squid creature, Cthulhu good looking thing of what was her name? Hydra. Now we have Cloak and Dagger. I haven't read all their stuff, so I'll have to read through some of it. What I do know of Cloak and Dagger is they were a young couple. I think they were a couple. And they ran off together. And then they started did an experimental drug that turned them into superheroes that are linked together now permanently. I didn't see them before. Also, another thing I know about them is wiggle physics are shown there. Let's go to lore. The back alleys of New York City had never been safe. Back when Tyrone Johnson and Tandy Bowen were just teenage runaways, they'd found themselves fighting to survive the cruel realities of living on the streets. When they gained their superpowers, becoming the crime-fighting duo known as Cloak and Dagger, they vowed to shed a little light and darkness on the most dangerous corners of the city so that no one else would ever have to live in fear again. So it appears they're from modern time, NYC. They're having to deal with the vampires taking over the city. That is my ankle, you little shit. Those are my toes. Ow. Vicious, violent, vicious. You want to wrestle? I'll wrestle with you. Uh huh. Yeah, my hand can take the abuse. Yeah, what are you gonna do? Where are you running off to? Come back and wrestle. I love that little cat. She's so cute. I can get you. Where's your ball? We can play fetch if you have a ball. Go find your ball. Go find your ball, little dog. Anyway, so they're fighting just as the entanglement happens, and the vampires apparently try to take over NYC and successfully do so, forcing Stark to turn his tower into a fortress, and the heroes to deal with the vampire menace. Um, so I'm not very familiar with Cloak and Dagger. Cloak appears to be some kind of dimensional shift superhero. He doesn't have much of a body. He does seem to be just like darkness within his robe, sort of like when DC version when Raven goes full on crazy. Um, whereas Dagger appears to be able to be more on the healing side and summon daggers. Sorry, my nose decided just to stop up. I can't breathe. Oh, it says normally a few petty criminals would never stand a chance against the pair of the seasoned superheroes like Cloak and Dagger. But during the fight, something strange happened. A burst of light appeared in the sky, brighter than anything Dagger had ever conjured up in light force powers. As it washed over the city, Dagger instinctively leaped into Cloak's portal, and the two teleported away to safety, as they had done countless times before. Apparently, when she leaped into the portal, Tenny couldn't come out. They have to switch, so that explains what's going on inside the game. So apparently, one of them will be forced to sit in the Dark Force dimension while the other one's there. They can switch, but they can't be together. Here we are confirmed that Reed is part of the modern era, the Fantastic Four, which it shows why they're showing up during the next update with New York City. Vampires are taking control of Manhattan. Apparently becoming, I guess, single, and with the other one in their head, Dagger's becoming more aggressive, and Cloak is becoming more merciful, which is out of their character. Again, I'm not familiar with the characters outside this game. Oh my god, I cannot breathe, little kitty. Am I allergic to little kitties? Oh no. I'm allergic to the skull front. Okay, so apparently Reed is attempting to cure Dracula's curse, which is something that might be coming up in the next thing. Whereas Tony Stark and Moon Knight are looking for more permanent means of removing the vampire threat in one fell swoop, which would probably kill all vampires, including the innocent ones that became vampires. Cloak and Phil Dagger is beginning to lean towards more extreme option, while Cloak wants to work with Reed. He also been using the stronghold as vampire invasion. Ooh. Apparently Tandy's forcing her way out against Cloak's will this time. Some do with repairing the technology, repair the time stream regeneration device. You've heard about this before, which Shuri is part of. You are all over the main room. This little girl has so much energy, and now she's in a box. And now she's halfway in a box. And now she's laying down in a box. And wait, there's too much energy for her to be contained in a box. Will she allow her box containment to take place, or will she escape? She is watching with anticipation. That's because he's like, just leave me alone. And mom's like, if you dare. That's Mama Cat. Portal version TRD that we've been tinkering with is not capable of realigning entire realities, but perhaps it could handle recalibrating something else as become entangled, something on a slight smaller scale. Cloak says maybe not, and Dagger says yes. It's powered by Chronovium. Oh, you little shit. Did my leg attack my hand? My hand's gonna take it. I was a cook once upon a time. My feet are not so used to damage. She's so cute. I wish I had video playing so you can see how cute this little thing is. What are you gonna do when you're not so little and you still want to play like that? How are you gonna cause some major damage? You're so pretty. Come here. Come on up. Wrestle. Wrestle with me. Gotta come up. I'm not coming down. There we go. You got her. Got her. You're not going to do the kicking thing? Sometimes when she wrestles with her hands, she'll do this thing where she kicks with her back leg, which I know is a cat fighting thing. I got you. What you gonna do? You gonna get me? You gonna get me? Hi, you pretty girl. What you doing? Oh, you got my hand. Oh, that big bites. Oh, you got chunks. Chunks. I don't bite my wrist. I don't need the people to think I'm cutting. Okay. We're teleporting for this my whole thing. Can we borrow a fantastic car? Oh, they actually did borrow the fantastic car. What did you just knock over? I don't know. Something loud fell. And I have no idea what it was. Oh, okay. Cloak's trying to save people. Dagger's just like blow the whole thing up. So I guess that explains why they're choosable like that. So apparently their powers, or his powers, of dimensional shifting, which is what happens when he throws people into himself, has become entangled with Tandy. They can still switch in and out inside the game, so apparently they get a hold on it. And they can exist together as well, because as you can see here, they're existing together. There are three forms. This is the normal. This is Growth and Decay, which apparently is a Marvel rival, so this one showed up in the entanglement itself. This appears to be an alt-reality version of them where they have to do with nature and destruction instead of darkness and light. And this is Limited Line, which apparently is, after their trip to Japan, tending to try to find themselves at odds for the newfound citrus loves. And so it's not like an alternate reality, it's just like alternate uniform of theirs. Again, female character, sexy design. Marvel does not care that its characters look good. We have Doctor Strange here. I know a little of his. And yeah, that's not normal Doctor Strange I have unlocked right now. That was part of the Battle Pass. Doctor Strange. Here's just Sultry Night. Oh yeah, this one I know. So Doctor Strange was alone in his home when Doom showed up, and indeed I have, Stephen replied, the expected guest in an authoritative voice. There's a hallway just outside Doctor Strange's inner sanctum stood the metal-clad monarch of Latveria. The villainous Doctor Doom. Now, we do believe this Doctor Strange is modern NYC, so we're going to assume that this is modern Doom, and it's likely modern Doom that got all entangled. How the heck did he get in here? Bats, which is a dog that lives inside the mansion. The green glow from the spectral form intensifying. This place is supposed to be intruder-proof. It seems the good doctor, Sanctum Satorium, is desperately in need of some more powerful protection spells, Dooms replied silently, and perhaps a better watchdog as well. I suppose I could change the view of mystic locks, Strange said with a smirk, though I scarcely have to worry about anyone getting past the front door. After all, there aren't many other mortals as adept at sorcery as you. You flatter me, Stephen, Doom replied. Do go on. It's true. I may be the Dimension Sorcerer Supreme, but when it comes to mastery of the dark arts, you may as well be my equal, which makes the fact that you come to your even more concerning. If you need my help, then something must be very wrong. Everything is wrong, Stephen, Doom said. It has been for far too long, but I believe I have discovered a way to fix it, to bend time itself to my whims. Sorry about the stutter, I've been stuttering more lately. Sound like Timmy sometimes. Not Timmy. Shoot, no, it's not Timmy. Who's the one from South Park that stuttered a whole bunch? I don't remember. We just watched a Christmas episode with him singing the 12 Days of Christmas. Time is not something to be tampered with, Strange replied. The cost is far too high. That's right. So Doom's come here and look for the Darkhold. He believes he can control time and space, and he believes that the Darkhold is part of that control he's looking to assert on it because of its relation to the vampires. At this point, the vampires aren't part of a problem. They haven't yet come out, and I don't think entanglement's happening because it's pre-entanglement. Apparently, these two are fighting, the dog and Doom. Before I go, Stephen, Doom said, looking back over his shoulder at Strange, a warning. I have foreseen a great evil coming to your city you call home. You may be safe within your house of truth for now, but those outside the walls will soon drown in darkness. The hell is that supposed to mean? Bat sparked towards the darkened doorway as Doom faded into the shadows. Easy boy, he's already gone, Strange replied. But I have an uneasy feeling that we'll find that pictured Saw that soon enough. If you'll excuse me. With a single gesture of one hand, Dr. Strange opened a portal to the hidden corner of the astral plane, one so remote that even he barely knew where it was located. With a wave of his other hand, the Darkhold flew off his bookshelf into that rift. The extra-dimensional gateway quickly closed as soon as the ancient tome passed safely through, as if neither portal nor the book had ever existed in the first place. For safekeeping, Strange said, almost as if reassuring himself. Doom will never find the Darkhold there. I just hope he's the only one looking for it. You and I both, my friend, Strange mused, turning his attention back to the far less dangerous spellbook. A few months later, Stephen Strange sat in front of the large circular window on the upper level of his sanctum, sipping on a cup of herbal tea. It had been some time since Doom had paid him a visit, but the confirmation, while brief, had not left his thoughts. He often found himself wondering if Doom could succeed in his quest to conquer time itself, and this day Strange would finally have his answer. Even before the blinding flashlight filled the sky, Strange could feel the massive disturbance rippling across the fabric of time and space itself. He didn't know where it had originated, but he had a single educated guess: Latveria. What have you done, Victor? Strange wondered aloud, as the disturbance traveled widely across the material plane. It pierced through dimensions, including astral planes, and surged towards the Sanctum Sanctorum. Strange had only a fraction of a second to meet the oncoming wave of chronal chaos, but he knew that his next move could very well determine not only his fate, but the fate of countless universes as well. Both surgeon and sorcerer Dr. Strange had faced countless life and death choices before, but never one as important as this. So not here, but over here it says this. At that point, Strange did attempt a spell to save parts or most of the city, but it backfired. Instead, it shoves him, the Sanctorum, and Polyvast into the mirror dimension permanently. The mirror dimension is the dimension you've seen in movie and in comics, where it's like geometry and can be controlled by the sorcerers in there. It's like an illusion, but it's an alternate dimension as well. Last time we saw it, I think, was in No Way Home, and Spider-Man trapped Stephen in there. And so Stephen's trapped in there. He can astral project himself out enough into physical form to help fight alongside heroes, but he's trapped in there. There are different cosmetics. This is regular Doctor Strange. Basically, this costume is the same costume you see in the movies. The Eye of Agamotto in the middle. This is the one that was unlocked during the current Battle Pass, the God of Magic. This Stephen Strange first appeared in 2015 and appears to be, as Stephen Strange has become so powerful, he's become deity-like. It also appears to have some relation to Asgard or Ysgard. This is Sorcerer Supreme of the Galaxy. He shows up from 2018. I'm not too familiar with him, other than he looks badass. This has to do with Intergalactic Strange, and apparently he was more a warrior than just a magician wielding a sword, as much as he did magic. And then we had the Master of Black Magic. This is Strange, I'm assuming, after he masters Black Magic to the point of Doctor Doom, which would indicate why he's now wearing green. This one actually shows up in comic books. So I don't know the actual storyline behind him, but he's there. Then we have Groot. Wouldn't you like to get paid a lot of money just to say, I am Groot? Over and over again? Vin Diesel, and then whoever acts him in here definitely got paid a lot of money to do that. Groot is part of the Guardians of the Galaxy. He's a tree creature. When Milano crashed, Groot stood around for a while watching Rocket and Quill argue about whose fault it was. Soon after, he got distracted by the voices in the jungle surrounding the ship, the strange creeping tones that broke through the alien foliage, floating past the caps and reaching him. Groot was far enough away that he couldn't decipher the language. Eventually, Rocket and Quill got on his nerves enough that he had to get away from them. So he went for a walk. As he walked, he heard Rocket say, "See, even Groot can't take your crap, Quill. I'm going to find a way out of this here while you sit here pretend you know how to fix the ship." He heard Rocket stomping away in another direction, but Groot didn't try to meet up with them. Rocket needed time by himself sometimes, and so did Groot, especially on strange planets, as Snake and Death. If I'm correct, they likely crashed on Clintar because that is part of the missions. Um, so the Guardians have a twofold story on here. They were hired by the intergalactic Wakandan territory to by Shuri by herself to check on the darkness that was invading the planet, but they somehow got shot down over Clintar and crashed. The ship had come down near one of the graveyards containing hundreds of other ships, maybe more. Groot wasn't candidate counting. He wandered away from the fire that burned in Milano's crash path, finding himself at the edge of the jungle. The voice of the jungle spoke to him, and Groot stopped and stood still. Trying hard to listen now, he was close enough to understand what they were saying. Away, get away. You'll hurt those if will hurt you if you get close. A chill ran down Groot's branches, straight into his roots. He had never heard plants sound like this. He stayed still, letting his consciousness drift out and collect impressions like a pollinator floating from flower to flower. Hurt you, hunger, survival, death, prison, Clintar. Hey, Groot. Hey, Groot thought to them. You don't have to be afraid. You don't belong here. I am Groot, Groot said. He looked at the edge of the jungle, where it tumbled over the hulks of wrecked ships. So yeah, they're in Clintar. Clintar is pretty much overrun by symbiotes, and the plants are somewhat symbiotic too. I think everything that is a symbiote infects the whole planet, most likely because this is Null's home planet as well. Or we're Null's with the rest. So the plants are trying to tell him to go away. Looks like he's confining with the creatures. Hold on, I gotta fix my glasses and my hair. I'll be right back. Okay, this should be a little better. Oh, the fire caused by Lionel's crash set off a explosion. This is probably not going to be good for Groot. It looks like Groot's trying to save the plants, but he's becoming rooted in Clintar's symbiotic soil. It's probably not going to be great for him. I put out the fire. Okay. Oh, he's fighting with symbiotes. If symbiotes can take on plant life, can't they also take on Groot? Would that be a symbiotic Groot? Be a monster. It'd be interesting mix if we could get that in here. But then who would that be a skin for? Groot or Venom? I like Groot. Sorry, I had to get up and walk around. I'm getting way too lazy and sitting these days. Oh, the plants turned against the symbiotes. That's cute. So Groot's become friends with symbiotic plants, enough to turn them against symbiotic people, creatures. Cute. Ah, Hawkeye, our regular human with a bow and arrow. Oh, frick, I almost completely forgot. His alts. This is regular Groot. This is the alt you can see. You get the Christmas version. This kind of spikes up his look and shoves him full of Christmas orbs. This is likely just something he did for Christmas. He gets some antlers up here. He wears what is likely a fake beard or wispy white tendrils of plant stuff. He's covered in pine-like tree stuff where he usually doesn't have that much plant life on him. It's unclear if it's something he grew or if this is something he put on him. It looks here like it's grown. It looks here like it's put on. He's also covered in toys. You can see, I think this is Adam? Rocket? That's all I really see is... Oh, no, here's... What's her name? Here's Star-Lord. You're missing somebody. You know, that's not what we're missing. I haven't even seen her mentioned in game yet. Nebula. Interesting. So this is this is MCU Groot from the MCU. A little bigger, but pretty much what he looked like in the last movie. And this is Avius Algae. This is apparently this Groot after he ate some kind of algae. Apparently he doesn't eat too much to begin with, and it calls him the Glow. I sense his joy, bioluminescent and bright. This is Hawkeye. He is a basic human and one of the original Avengers, and he is from Modern Era. NYC, if I'm correct. Let's see what the lore says. Oh, this is just after his Ronin time, apparently. If you remember in the story, in the movie, MCU version, he goes Ronin after what's-her-name's death and the loss of his families after the snap. But, excuse you. And I don't remember, I'm not entirely sure why he does it inside comic book version. This is mostly comic version, most likely. All Hawkeye knew when he got on board a Quinjet that he was heading to a solo rescue mission that involved Hydra. That suited him. Extended mission prep really wasn't his style. Limiting a certain amount of information to make a smart approach. Over preparation could dull your senses, keep you from being aware and responsive when things change in the field. So apparently he is being set up as a solo mission against Hydra, likely go to that Hell area, the missile base. Above the big old island of Hawaii, southern Hawaii. Antarctica. They're heading to Antarctica? Apparently, there's a place down there called Savage Land, and he's afraid the Hydra's poaching dinosaurs. There's a place called Savage Land in this dimension down in Antarctica. I'm not familiar with Savage Land, honestly. It's likely the lost world of Antarctica, where dinosaurs are supposed to live, according to fiction. Base on Ross Island. More specifically, the target is Bucky Barnes. Don't tell me, Clint said as a cold knot formed between the pit of his stomach. Bucky had worked so hard to free the brainwashing. He stopped for affable over too. What a horrible thing it would be if he'd been mind controlled again. Clint thought hard about whether he'd be able to follow through on a mission to eliminate Bucky. He'd done worse during his Ronin years, but he also left Ronin behind. He was Hawkeye again. He was an Avenger. It's not what you think, judging by the expression on your face, Agent 13 said. 3 days ago, Barnes was sent to infiltrate and gather intel about Hydra activity inside the Erebus space. Infiltration was successful, and we got some brief communication from Bucky during the mission's first 2 hours. But as of 8 hours of infiltration, comms were interrupted, and we presume he's been captive by Hydra. Anything could have happened to Bucky in 3 days, Clint thought, but he was as tough as anybody. There was a chance to get him out alive. That's what Clint would do. Why Erebus Base? Well, because it's tunneled into Mount Erebus, but Hydra probably also likes the mythological association. You gonna make me ask? I thought you'd never ask. In Greek mythology, Erebus was the son of Chaos, one of the primordial gods. Also, that's the name the Greeks gave to the gate between the world of the living and the underworld. Yeah, Hydra would go for that. Behind every myth is a bit of truth. Some of Bucky's comms were pretty scrambled, but we have a basic idea that the base is built on a much older set of ruins. It's likely there's an occult angle. An occult angle, then repeated. So, like, I should expect to run into monsters from Greek Underworld? That's all I can tell you. Also, they're doing some kind of super soldier research, but he was loud and clear about that. Uh, so this is pre-Captain America taking Bucky and him to um, intergalactic Wakanda, which indicates that Bucky and Hawkeye are from the same dimension in modern world, modern Marvel universe. You're cute. Sorry, Kitty has decided to cuddle and eat my ankle at the same time. Okay, well that explains how pre-Captain what happened. Oh, right. Ults. Bucky's alt is this one, Free Fall from 2020. It's basically just a haircut and a different outfit. The outfit looks very similar to the one seen used in the MCU TV show version of him. And then we got Tiger's Eye, which you don't look like a hawk's eye, you look more like a tiger's eye. This one is specifically from the Entanglement. This could indicate this is a new Hawkeye. Oh, there goes the cougar. Oh, that took on more of a tiger persona. Maybe he's from Tokyo. Who knows? But maybe he just decided to wear yellow instead of purple. I don't know why purple makes you look like a hawk's eye. This is Hela. Hela, if you don't know her history, is the literal brother of Thor and the adopted, sister, the adopted sister of Loki. She is the goddess of death and hell. Hell is the Norse mythological underworld and the basis of the Christian hell, actually, before Christian hell existed. And if you want me to respect your mythology, you can stop trying to rule the world. So, no, I'm not going to respect Christianity. It is nothing more than a myth like Norse mythology or any of the other religions. Only you don't see Jesus being a cool Marvel character. Please don't make him into a cool Marvel character. I actually haven't read this one either, so we're going to go through here. From the throne atop her realm, the Queen of Hell recalled feeling. Oh, that's right. So she's working to take over Ysgard with her brother, Loki, and they successfully do so, while Odin is in Odin's sleep. According to what we learned from Adam, Odin was put into Odin's sleep, aka the coma, by Loki, which is kind of what happens in the movies and in some of the comics. She apparently became involved in understanding Chronovium and the Entanglement. Brought her a son of sort she had never seen before in Hell. She had paid little mind until she grasped what the mortal Victor Von Doom had done. Then she sent the flock, her crows scattered other realms, all returning bearing samples of Chronovium, the crystallized residue of the monstrous shocks to space-time continuum. And yet they all differed slightly from the version in Hell and from one another. So apparently there's different chronomium, depending in where they're from. Just like there's vibranium chronomium in intergalactic Wakanda, there's probably like hell infused power chronomium in her place. New lands have been expanding the portals of hell and welcoming vast numbers of new creatures into ever-growing legions, perhaps even claiming the souls of the great beings known as Celestials. Only recently has she become aware of them. And then only through a new soul in hell cast here from another universe by the, what had he called it? The time stream entanglement. This pitiful mortal, who met their end in the event, filled forth the knowledge of vast realms of space filled with fantastic creatures. At a wave of her hand, Hell's folk crows feasted on the mortal soul, her mind settling on the goal. The souls and this power of these great beings would belong to her, and when they did, she would sweep the challenged through 10 realms, uniting them under the banner of Hell. Undoubtedly, Loki was hatching his own schemes to utilize Chronovium to increase his own power and ensure Asgard never slipped from his grasp. But Loki's schemes never worried Hela. Often his petty obsessions and caprices benefited her by causing conflicts that added to her legions. At some point, she suspected he would approach her proposing some sort of arrangement. Perhaps an alliance. Perhaps she would consent, and they would begin a dance of waiting for the right moment to betray each other. The joys of family. Until then, she would proceed with her own plans, which led her to the current moment as a messenger from a distant place she never heard of before. Her initial response to annihilate it for arrogant crime of trespassing in her realm. However, it seemed to her that these disruptions of time-space could be a gift, had it not opened vast new possibilities for Hell. Surely she should learn what new worlds, new universes now lay within her grasp. So her crow stood perched while the otherworldly emissary trudged into her throne room. He was a strange creature, appearing like blobs of tendrils, and tarry black substance bonded with the host. Its liquid flesh mingled aspects of its own nature and that of its host, currently a Jotun priestess. Even though she was no longer alive, even though Jotun's soul was still present, proud to feel her enough of the Jotun's soul was still present, proud to feel her horror at being bound to such monstrosity. How curious. The creature, however, the symbiote, had no such misgivings, or at least did not betray them. Tell me, little creature, what brings you to this place? You would do well to listen, Queen of Death, he said. I bring tidings from Null, mighty lord of the abyss. And what is a Null? Is he god of all the creatures such as you? She made no effort to hide her scorn. The Null was, in all likelihood, as debased and parasitic as his worshippers who stood before her. His power is eons older than yours, ancient before light existed, and he has his own claims on creatures whose essence he has consumed. Ah, Hela thought, of course. I take it he means to claim the Celestials as well. The symbiote nodded and flicked out his tongue. Null has learned that one of the Celestials is now in this realm. You cannot keep it as guardian. It is his to claim, and it will be the key to his freedom. I cannot, Hela stood from the throne. Bold of you, parasite, to tell me what I can and cannot do in my own realm. What enters hell is mine, forever. In fact, she said, giving the symbiote a closer look, perhaps I will even keep you. What manner of soul does a creature like you possess? The symbiote remained still. Hela let it wonder for quite a while, as she pondered what she had already learned. The key to his freedom, the emissary said. So this Null was a god in chains, yet he still possessed the reach to send a message to hell. He knew the power of Celestials. He knew that the Tangled Worlds had brought new souls to hell. Therefore, there must be a way from hell to... What is the world you come from, creature? Klyntar, O Queen. A name she knew vaguely. People from a culture long since annihilated had once come to her realm from there. She considered it a little longer. I release you. Now release your host. The symbiote did, peeling and secreting and withdrawing from the skeletal form of Jotun priestess. Return to your master, Hela went on, and tell him that he may rule Klyntar. But Hela rules hell. If he wishes to fight me, then he too will become one of my subjects. Do you have that messenger? The symbiote mask quivered, but without a host it could not speak. Hela worked a spell, drawing forth knowledge from his mind. She scrolled open a gateway to a world of darkness, an impenetrable jungle where no sane mortal would tread. Go, Hela said, before I change my mind. The symbiote sprang through the gateway and was gone. Hela let the gateway close. Now Null knew that she could reach out to his world directly. Let him think on that and consider his next move. Hela gathered up a massive Cornovium, imbued with the essence of hell. Just as all lives must end, she reflected all things must move through time. Did it not follow that all time ended as the hell as well? And did it not follow that hell could grow through the crystallized time, and come to see new realms brought near by the entanglement of worlds? The hell Cornovium was shot through the black and green. She spoke to it, shaping it into enchantment, the first of many. All living beings, she said, in all realms. Ow! Cat! That's my ankle. Quit biting my foot. It tickles and it's painful. I don't know. I jacked my toe. Ow! Shit. She's so vicious. Mama can't help me. She's too vicious. I'm trying to read and she's eating my feet. That's Mama Cat. Watch yourself. Yeah, she noticed who she touched and she stopped. She would not mess with Mama Cat. Mama Cat must possess some kind of authoritative figure. Mama Cat, are you authoritative? You're so cute. Are you kicking my feet with your feet? So sharp. Not so hard. Soft bites. Soft bites. Softer. Soft. Ow, that's not soft. Shit. I said shit like 5 times now. Okay, quit. Quit, that's vicious. You're vicious. This is different than when I'm wearing socks. You're just biting my feet. I don't care if you chew on the pants. Don't bite my feet. Ow. She suspected the symbiote Embassy was not Null's only gambit. Doubtless he was plotting against her, seeking ways to undermine her and the reach of hell. Let him, she thought. Let him beguile. Let him beguile mortals and persuade greedy gods that they can band together against me. Bring them all closer. And she has already told symbiote emissary whatever entered hell was Hela's, unless she chose to let it go. And soon the souls would no longer come to hell. Hell would come to them. Her realm will grow outward, I lost. Her realm would go outward through time, drawing its numberless souls until she had an army so vast not even the gods could hope to resist it. The Film realms were just beginning. She spun the black and green Canovium jewel over her palm. Yield to me your secrets, she commanded. Bring to me the future, as I already ruled the past. So apparently, Hell's going to be her own problem. While she does eventually team up with Loki to take over Isgard, she is planning her own expansion of Hell. Whew, I can't believe we're still on the first page. Iron Fist. Iron Fist is an honestly less known hero. He is a character who has the teachings and passed down ability to create chi in his fists to become as strong as iron or stronger. He's super fast, super strong, and uses chi to empower himself. It allows him to also agility. In fact, I first played him yesterday for the first time. I think it was yesterday, day before yesterday. And I found out his agility is part of his fun to use. He can jump off the walls, and I did this thing where I jumped off the wall and kicked Iron Man in the face to get him, which is just honestly really fun. All the characters have their fun, own unique thing. I would like to see them keeping this uniqueness to each character they put in the game. Eventually, we'll have to get Doom, and I don't know if we'll get the symbiote's god, because he's basically a symbiote. We already have a symbiote in here. I almost forgot. Hela's forms. This is Hela's original form. Basically, is what she looked like in the movie. Her secondary costume, it appears in 2008, is known as Ultimate. So probably the Ultimate series where everybody was like almost godlike. You can see, unlike her original form, she's not wearing gloves, but her fingers are darkened and red by magic. Also, vents down here, kind of sexy. But otherwise, very similar costume. She's very sultry looking to her. She's supposed to. This one is called The Goddess of Death. This is from 1966. That's how long her comics have been running. This one sort of has like, this looks like the moon god. Bird skull. Otherwise, it's a more tame version of her costume. Then we have this. She's basically naked. This is the Empress of the Cosmos. This one comes from the entanglement, so either during the entanglement, Hell will become more cosmically powered, possibly through the Chronovium, or this is just an alt world we are unfamiliar with that doesn't show up in the comics themselves. This is also what was given out on the Battle Pass, and it is quite a sexy costume, honestly. I don't think anything else important here. Likely this is her becoming a Celestial, in all fairness. She looks Celestial power, that's why her with Celestial power. Back to Iron Fist, and her lore, or his lore. Fog over the Kulin Mountains. Sacred place for the tree of immortality, blah blah blah. So he's a new Iron Fist, by the way. People will say this all the time, that they know the Iron Fist and he's not Iron Fist. And he says, I am now. Apparently they have a all out of reality sacred place, but it has been hit by the time string entanglement through the pilot dimension. Apparently the immortal weapons like Iron Fist are missing. Ow, the sword is in his hand? That sucks. Lin Lei opened his eyes to find a green mist floating around the tree of immortality. Although Kunlun was still as silent as death itself, its protector knew he was no longer alone. A thief, Lin Lei whispered, a smile coming to his lips. Perhaps a little action would put his troubled mind at ease, but how does one fight a mist? Lin Lei readied himself for battle, focusing the entirety of his chi into his hand. Without warning, he felt someone strike him, first in the stomach, then in the face. It was almost as if he was being attacked by a ghost. A very strong ghost, for that matter. As the mist blurred his vision, Lin Lei swung his glowing fist pliantly, delivering a mighty blow that split the fog in half, but even an iron fist can't do much to an intangible foe. The mist came back together, swirling around the tree of immortality once more before vanishing altogether. Along with it, a single piece of enchanted fruit had vanished as well. Where? He caught a glimpse of the green fog ring materializing on the top of the wall surrounding the courtyard. Moments later, the mist coalesced into distinctly human form. Lin Lei couldn't identify the thief from this distance, but that didn't stop him from giving chase. Lin Lei let out a cry of intense pain as he leapt into the air and pulled his fists. Long shards of mystical metal, the remnant's sword of Husi, extended from the backs of his hands. He plunged them into the stone and used his blades to scale the wall with ease. Ow, that sounds incredibly not nice. That doesn't sound like something I'd want to do. Who are you? Lin Lei wondered, picking up his pace. Soon the thief diverted his path to the rooftops. He glanced back for a second, and Lee finally recognized who he was, the Prince of Orphans, the immortal weapon from Zagambo. But what was he doing here? Why was he stealing the enchanted fruit? And where in the heavens was he leading? Then Lee. As Prince of Orphans vanished through the gate, Lin Lei noticed some symbols nearly etched into the stone archway above it. Ain-Nayaziri, the Land of Shadows. When Lin Lei crossed through the gateway, he found himself in an unfamiliar realm. Certainly this wasn't any part of the seven capitals that he had visited before. He was in what seemed a thriving underworld full of criminal and yaoi, ancient demons. There was also normal people walking the shadowy streets as well, going about their lives. Lin Lei wished he had the time to explore this strange place to find more answers, but he knew he couldn't afford to lose track of the Prince of Orphans. Hopefully his fellow immortal weapon could shed some light on this dark place. The green mist entered through the window of a small dwelling at the back of an alley. Lin Lei did not hesitate to follow inside. Upon entry, he was immediately attacked by the Prince of Orphans, who delivered his signature move, the Jaw Snapper, in Twilight. Lin Lei was instantly laid low by the brutal strike. I expected better from an iron fist, the Prince of Orphans said, extending a hand to help Lin Lei off the ground. Lin Lei rubbed his aching jaw. Well, yeah, I am no Danny Rand, as everyone keeps reminding me. I do not expect you to be, the Prince of Orphans says. There were 67 Iron Fists before you, and there will be plenty more after. Do not try to be them, but strive to be the best of you. The Prince of Orphans pulled the enchanted fruit he had stolen from his satchel. His glistening golden skin had turned a deep, withered brown. Fun fact, Lin Lei said, as soon as the fruit is plucked from the tree of mortality, it begins to die. I know. I just hoped it would get back here fast enough. Why do you even need it? Lin Lei asked. You seem in pretty good shape for a guy your age, or any age. It's not for me, the Prince of Orphans replied, walking over to the basket in the corner of the room, pulling back the blanket. It's for her. Lin Lei gazed into the basket of an infant girl with pale skin and blue eyes and strawberry blonde hair. She strained as she reached towards Lin Lei, and simply backed away, knowing nothing about handling children. You have a kid? The girl is not mine, the Prince of Orphans replied. She wasn't. I found her during the war, alone, abandoned. Well, I guess you lived up to your name. His face suddenly turned serious. Wait, what war? You have not ventured outside Kunlun much lately, have you? The Prince of Orphans said. The Prince of Orphans began to explain how the very same coronal catastrophe that caused the seven capital cities of heaven to combine had also collapsed several timelines into each other. And we already know about that. Warrior child to become a demon queen? I'm going to assume that's magic. And a jade giant guarding a nuclear purgatory. I have no idea who that is. And red sorceress holding reality together from a mountaintop in Europe. No idea who that is. The numbers are few and growing ever smaller every day. Then what are we doing? Why aren't we out there fighting? Some things must take priority, the Prince of Orphans said, motioning towards the baby, who let out a terrible cough and began to cry. She became sick, and so I had to seek refuge. Zagambo was not here. I had left it, but I was offered refuge by Zhang. Little did I know that it would lead me back home, in a way. Zhang. He built this place, the Prince of Orphans responded, or at least remade it in his image. It used to be known as the Eighth City. Wait, I've heard of that, Lin Lei exclaimed. It was the prison realm for the 7 capital cities of heaven, right? And now it is a refuge for all those who have been displaced by this war, including me and little Lhasa here. Hold on, he said, smiling gently as he took hold of the rapidly decaying fruit. Little of my chi should return this to peak freshness in no time. As Lindley's hand began to glow, the fruit turned back to its original golden hue. How can I repay you? Prince of Orphans asked, immediately cutting the fruit with a knife and handing it a small piece of his tiny word to nibble on. I was always told you were one of the best fighters the mortal weapons ever had, Lindley said. Clearly I could use your help. I mean, I can hold my own, but I've got a long way before I can reach your skill level. You never trained in the martial arts, Lake King? The Thunderer is big on tradition. Didn't exactly get my power in the most customary ways, remember? I suppose I could teach you a thing or two. Show me your guard stance. Wait, like right now? If you wish me to be your mentor, you will work on my schedule. If you truly hope to be one of the great Iron Fists, we will need to start in close combat. In June. Then we can move into some weapon techniques, perhaps some Bart Chadam. Bart Chamdao. They cutting blades. Let's have that. If we could enjoy the moment too much, however, Lindley's impromptu training session was interrupted by a pounding on the toilet door. I do not, the Prince of Orphans said as he walked over to the small window and peered outside to see several armed Keeloon guards waiting in the alleyway. Friends of yours? The Prince of Orphans asked Lindley. I forgot to tell you, stealing fruit from the tree of immortality is punishable by death. I find the irony amusing. The guys probably followed us here to make sure I finish the job, Lindley continued. Are you going to? The Prince of Orphans asked, curiously raising an eyebrow. Lindley smiled at the new inventor. No, I'm going to convince them that some walls were meant to be broken. With your fist? With my words. Sometimes the biggest victories come from the battles we choose not to fight. The Prince of Orphans was impressed by young Iron Fist's wisdom, but as he followed Lindley to the door of his home and out in the alleyway, Lindley's guards instantly raised their weapon, ready to strike. Do not think they are interested in talking. And so, Lindley, your first lesson begins. As Lindley began to focus chi once again, a commanding voice rang from the other. Enough, it yelled. There will be no blood shed on my streets. A man stepped forward, his body wrapped in a cloth so black it was hard to tell where he ended and the shadows began. Dzing, a Prince Overman said, dropping to one knee, bowing his head in respect, we meant no harm. And none shall be delivered. These guards were merely doing their duty, but are beyond their jurisdiction. They are free to go. How about me? Lindley asked as the guards turned and fled back to Keeloon. You may stay, at your own risk. There are those here who wish to see Iron Fist defeated, some of whom were bold enough to try and claim power for themselves. Bring them on. Lindley said confidently, just as Keeloon deserves to protect. Zhang continued, the city is mine. Should you disrupt the delicate balance I have created here, you will answer to me. With that, Zhang effortlessly leapt between the walls of the alleyway, back and forth as he ascended to the rooftop above. As he reached the top, he paused a moment and silently peered down on Lindley. The full moon shone behind him, framing Zhang's silhouette in a way that sent chills down Lindley's spine. So, Prince of Orphans said as Zhang disappeared in the shadows, where were we? Lindley honestly wasn't sure how to answer the question, but suddenly he was desperate to find out. So, again, this seems like a different realm here being entangled, 2 different realms being entangled. We may see those in the future. Oh. His alts, I don't know much about him, so I don't know what these alts are for. We have a 2019 Swordmaster. This is the Sword of Fushi, and its master. I don't know if this will be an alternate version of him, an alternate Iron Fist. We have Martial Arts Savage, which gives him gray hair and a purple costume, and appears to be an entanglement specific costume. Lindley has become the youngest master of martial arts, so our city has seen without outstanding skills and extraordinary talent, even bigger challenges now await him. So possibly after the entanglement, he gets gray hair. Who knows? Iron Man. Wounded by a weapon of his own is not weird. Now that ninjas. Okay, so this is modern era Iron Man. You know what the worst part about vampires is, Friday? Tony Stark asked as he launched a barrage of short-range missiles from a cannon mounted on the shoulders of Iron Man armor. The fact that they've taken over Manhattan thanks to an ancient curse that's thrust the entire city into a state of eternal night, the armor's AI replied matter-of-factly. Well, yeah, that. Stark responded, rolling his eyes as Friday stated the obvious yet again. But they're also a pain in my shiny metal butt when it comes to taking them down. As if to prove Tony's point, the cluster of missiles hit the ground at a nearby construction site, completely missing their intended targets, a small group of vampires that were prowling the streets of Hell Kitchen. Most of my targeting systems are thermal, Stark continued, and since vampires aren't technically alive, they don't generate much in the way of body heat. Do you have any idea how many missiles I wasted since I showed up? Most recent count is 1,963, Friday said, or approximately 98 million worth of, I get it. I had to find a better way. Fewer minor modifications to your weapon array would improve your accuracy by 374.2%, Friday went on. I can project the revised schematic for your review if you wish. You'll have to wait, Stark said. For now, I'll have to do this old-fashioned way. Iron Man swooped in front of the group of vampires and unleashed a few strong repulsor blasts from the palms of his gauntlet, each of them missing his bloodthirsty foes by mere inches. I'm not sure that switching to manual targeting is yielding better results, sir, Friday said, concerned. Maybe I'm not trying to hit them this time, Fridays, Stark said, smiling as he continued to unleash blasts to the side of the vampires. At least not yet. The creatures of the night huddled closer and closer together to avoid the onslaught of energy blasts. The horde turned to flee, but they had been herded into a corner. Iron Man had them exactly where he wanted them. Unibeam, armor, overdrive, Stark commanded. Instantly, the reactor on the center of his chest began to glow with intense power. A concentrated beam emanated from the arc reactor, washing over the vampires. When the light faded, the horde lay defeated at Tony's iron boots. Wow, I really needed that. Well, I'm glad you got it out of your system, Tony. Another voice interrupted over the armor's comlink. Because now I need you back in the lab. You're such a buzzkill, Reed, Stark responded, clearly annoyed, but he knew that his fellow scientist, Reed Richards, the brilliant hero on this floor known as Mr. Fantastic, was right. Ever since Doom had unraveled the boundary between time streams, causing them to overlap and entangle with each other, countless dimensions have been destroyed, and the worlds that did survive have been thrown into complete chaos. Tony and Reed had put their big brains together to design a machine that might be able to reintegrate the timelines and restore the remaining realities to the way that they had been before. But even with the help of a think tank of super geniuses, including T'Challa and Shuri from the Wakanda Empire, their efforts hadn't produced tangible results. That's because the time stream integration device required massive amounts of chronal power, the kind of raw time energy that could only be generated by newly discovered element chronovium. Until they secured enough chronovium to ensure TRD's success, Tony wasn't about to risk doing any more damage to the fabric, time, and space, or to the device itself. Reed, on the other hand, didn't seem nearly as concerned. Ben just got back from Blaze's recon mission, Reed said over the comlink, and he recovered something that might be great value to us. A lifetime supply of garlic? Tony half-joked. No. A chronovium crystal, one of the purest I've ever seen. Put it in a necklace and give it to Sue for your anniversary, Stark said, because unless it's generating enough chronal energy to operate the time stream regeneration device at full capacity, we're not using it. Stop being so stubborn, Tony, Reed replied. We both know that real science requires experimentation. We can't trust the TRD to fix all the universe's problems if we haven't properly tested it first. The way I see it, if we got one shot at this, Stark argued. We checked the numbers. The design is flawless. The device is our golden ticket to fix it in time stream. I'm not looking to change course here, but if we rush it and wreck it, we could lose our only shot. I've had my share of luck in Vegas, but this is one gamble I'm not ready to take. Are you? I suppose not, Reed said. But we can't stay in a holding pattern forever. The time will come when we have to pull the trigger, whether or not. Take it from a guy who used to make weapons for a living. Even when you think you're ready to pull the trigger, you never really are. Funny, another voice responded, this one nearby. Never had that problem before. Tony had been so caught up in conversation with Reed that he had failed to notice the arrival of another hero at the scene. The white-clad warrior known as Moon Knight. You're a little late to the party, Spectre, Stark said confidently. I've already cleared out all the unwanted guests. That's not what Khonshu told me, Moon Knight replied. He says the Vamps have been using this site as a secondary nesting ground. You're crazy. If there was more of them, my armor would totally have. Tony stopped realizing his fake. He hadn't herded the vampires in the construction site. They had herded him here. They must have somehow figured out his armored thermal sensors wouldn't alert him to the presence of their more bloodthirsty kin lurking silently in the rafters above, waiting to strike. Who's crazy now? Moon Knight asked the dozens of vampires suddenly descended on the two heroes. Still you, Stark responded, blasting energy beams at the oncoming attackers. But I guess you're not the only one now. This whole world had lost its damn mind, said Moon Knight, as he planted his staff into the ground and vaulted forward, kicking a particularly vicious vamp. For the first time ever, Khonshu might be the only one making any sense. You mean that moon god you're always talking to? Stark asked suspiciously. What's he got to say this time? He says you've been focusing on the wrong problem. You're so busy trying to save the universe, you're forgetting about saving the people in it. So we should stop the vampires first, then fix the time stream, Stark said. Easy to say, but we've been trying to come up with new ways to combat the city's current crisis. As you can see, nothing's working. Science isn't going to solve this. An ancient curse calls for an ancient solution. As Moonlight raised the ink over his head, it began to glow. The blinding rays of the moonlight shining from the totem sent the remaining vampires running for cover. You wouldn't happen to have another one of those things, Stark asked, like a really, really, really big one? No, but I might have something better, a plan. I'm listening. There's a forbidden spell called the Montesi Formula. Khonshu says it's the power to wipe out vampires for good. What's the catch? The spell was written in the Darkhold, and all the pages of the Darkhold got scattered across the city when that other Wanda pulled Doctor Strange back into our dimension. Stark finished up. Lovely. Khonshu says he knows where we can find the pages we need, but there's one thing, and to hear like he isn't going to want to hear it. Try me. When I say the spell can wipe out vampires for good, I mean it. That includes all of the innocent needleporters that have fallen prey to Dracula's Legion and joined the ranks. That's a lot of potential casualties. You used Still War, Tony. You know better than most that casualties are part of the equation. I'm sorry, the price is too high. Never dreamed of a day when I heard Tony Stark say those words, Moonlight said. Neither did I, Stark replied. And I'm not sure how long I can keep convincing myself they're true. Khonshu's chosen avatar leapt into the air and quickly bounded from one steel girder to the next, his white cape flowing behind him. As he landed atop the building next to the construction site, he looked down at Stark and delivered a final offer. It's time to let magic clean up its own mess, Stark, Moonlight said. Are you with me or not? Tony paused, considering the options. No more time to talk, boss, Friday chimed in. I just picked up a massive power spike over Central Park, and from my readings, it seems to be Asgardian in nature. Did Thor finally show his pretty blonde head? That's a big negative. Whatever it is giving off some mystical energy. Great, more magic, Stark said sarcastically as he powered up his boot jets and lifted in the air. Just what I needed. As he reached the level where Moonlight was perched, Iron Man paused for a moment. Well, you come with me or not? It depends. Whose side are you on? I'm on the side of whoever can end this nightmare, Stark said. And so far, that hasn't been us. Maybe it's time to change course after all. So yeah, it looks like Reed is looking to fix the time stream from what we've seen so far, while Iron Man is dealing with the vampires. And we do know that in someone else's story we read somewhere that Iron Man and Moon Knight were pondering a more extreme end to the vampires. Instead of saving the innocent, just wiping all of them out all at once. Iron Man has a few cosmetics. This is his current costume. This is... I didn't mean to do that. His Avengers costume from Endgame. Oh, wait, I didn't mean to do that. I don't know if it shows it inside the costume itself or if it's only in the MVP. No, it's not in the costume itself. So you can see it in the MVP. He does have the stones in the MVP. The I am Iron Man scene. I did not mean to exit. The other cosmetic is Armor Model 42. Smart metals aligned with subdermal ghosts of an exoskeleton. This is my test bed for a new suit. Think putty modeling clay. Next gen 3D printer is for trying things out. So this is a 42 attempt to model. Is this one called something? Iron Man, just regular. Endgame. I love you 3000. Oh, I really wish I'd stop backing out of that. And then lastly, we have this Superior Iron Man. I'm the most intelligent, capable person on the planet. I'm not playing God all this time. I've been playing human. I'm not familiar with this one. It says from 2014. It appears to be a more egocentric Iron Man, the one who's just let go of any humanity. And also, it's a liquid metal. You can see in this. Fairly cool. They do need to clean up some of the actual looks too, because if you look at his face starting to pull over, lots of blurriness right there. They can clean up the graphics if they're gonna do something that close up. Then we have everybody's most or least favorite, Jeff the Land Shark. So I already know Jeff the Land Shark's lore, or at least basics of it. He was captured by the Collector. He's part of the land shark species. There's like a handful of them. He's just a baby by the looks of it, unless he's as big as he's going to become. He doesn't seem to carry the intelligence some the land sharks do. He is very ravenous, and he can shoot water. There is talks that when he went through the collector's gallery and ate everything in kind of revenge for having himself collected, he ate the Infinity Stones and his world's version of the Darkhold. Oh, he got loose when the time machine almost scrambled reality. Sharknado, really. If just the land shark swam another lap around his small glass enclosure, frustration finally began to settle in. He tried so hard to stay his usual optimistic self, even after he lost track of how long he'd been held captive here in the strange theme park, created by the enigmatic elder of the universe known as the Collector. Jeff didn't really know how he got here in the first place. One second he was frolicking in the endless waves lacking at the California coast with his BFF Gwen. And we don't know which Gwen that is, but that could be Gwenpool. Or it could be Spider-Gwen. We're not entirely sure. The next he was here, trapped with a tiny tank that he couldn't seem to chomp his way out of, no matter how wide he opened his powerful little jaws. But since his unexpected arrival, Jeff had pieced together why he was here. Surrounding his own enclosure, there were countless of other holding cells, each containing unique specimen life forms he had never seen before. Some lived mostly like the human friends he had made back home, but others were so bizarre and alien they couldn't possibly have lived in the land or on the land or beneath the waves of his native world. Jeff had visited the zoo before with another of his friends, the archer called Kate, and now he thought he was probably in one. Just another exhibit on display. So obviously Jeff is sentient. Oh, Mantis is here. One thing Jeff hated when his friends were in trouble, which brings us back to why Jeff suddenly lost his cheerful demeanor. Jeff had felt Mantis's psionic scream as she was removed from her cell and dragged away. He had heard the guards talking about her to some sort of arena where the Collector's prisoners were forced to fight for their lives against multi-dimensional variants of themselves. Jeff had no idea what any of that meant, but he did know that Mantis was in trouble. He couldn't hear her voice in his head anymore. He couldn't feel her calming presence. He couldn't see where she was if she was safe. Troubled himself towards the wall, surveying for freedom, but the only result was a sharp pain in his sweet little face smushed against the crystal clear wall. Poor little Jeff. He's just a baby. As he floated through their days and impacts, Jeff wondered what his friends back home would do if there's a situation. Kate would probably use an explosive arrow. Gwen would find an unexpected way to break through a wall. Probably the fourth one is Gwynpool. And Elsa would have hidden some ancient enchanted blade in her ponytail to slice the impenetrable glass. And Wade would simply talk the guards into letting him out, winning their favor with false promises of money and tacos. None of those options would work for Jeff. He was stuck here, and thoughts of his lost friends, including Mantis, left him feeling more and more alone with every second that passed. Then he sensed it. A familiar tingle in the brain. Mantis was alive, and she's coming back. He's going to draw the guards, another voice said. In all this excitement, Jeff hadn't even noticed that Mantis was not alone. She had another humanoid with her, this one far more dark and brooding in demeanor. She did not look nearly as happy to see Jeff as Mantis did. And to be honest, Jeff wasn't convinced he liked her that much. You were? Jeff grunted, quizzically, noticing the way the second woman was looking at him. Don't mind her, Mantis said as she started to activate release machination inside of Jeff's enclosure. She wanted to get out of here as badly as we do. Oh, this is going to be psionic. Oh, what's her name? What is going on? Oh, that's my child texting me. Quick as Mantis' thoughts were, somehow their new friend managed to get into the Glash's crew first. Her blade slashed in a glittering dance, and in seconds the guards were down for a count. Jeff couldn't be more impressed. Jeff said, trying to express his appreciation of the purple-haired warrior. It is. What's her name? Frick, I know her name. I like her. She's an X-Men, or from an X-Men. She's also in Fortnite, and she's a character in here. I just can't think of her name all of a sudden. Mantis finally managed to swing the door open to Jeff's tank, releasing a flood of water in the hallway. Jeff emerged from the miniature wave it created, propping himself up on his stubby legs and giving his body a quick shake. He saw excess moisture from his skin. Mantis laughed with pure delight as the deluded droplets rained down on her. The other one was not nearly as amused. Let's go, Mantis said, beckoning with an unlikely partner. She began to run through the collector's penitentiary with a determination that made Jeff. Best thing to do was bound long runs beside him. Companion forged ahead. Jeff finally found himself trapped by an unusual smell. It's like anything he had ever encountered before. Either Atlantis it smelled delicious and powerful. Before he realized what he was doing, Jeff had veered off to the side from his companions, entering the collector's private gallery. Here, the Elder of the Universe had gathered some of the most powerful items and artifacts. Oh, here we go. All existence and was displaying them for his wealthiest patrons to gaze upon. Jeff didn't know what any of these strange things were not the 6 colorful stones, nor the glowing cube, nor the otherworldly crimson gem, nor, I don't know what that is, nor the flaming demonic scroll. But he did know one thing. He hadn't eaten in a very long time. Jeff's instincts of control. He opened his tiny jaws wide and started to swallow down almost everything in the gallery as quickly as he could. Alarms began to blare. It didn't stop Jeff from consuming one object of power after another. That explains why Jeff is now even more superpowered than he was. There you are, Jeff, Mantis cried. We thought you had lost you. Are you okay? Jeff belched in response. His tiny tummy started to rumble after he gulped down a little metal vial marked PIM. PIM particles. As Jeff blushed with embarrassment, Mantis chuckled. Even the steel wheel stranger couldn't help but smirk. And all levity instantly faded as another group of guards arrived at the gallery. Savannah's going to have her heads, one guard shouted as he realized that all the artifacts in the private gallery had somehow vanished. Not if we bring him theirs first. Without a second hesitation, Jeff leapt between the guards and Mantis instinctively sheltered his friend. From an oncoming blast. But as he instructed the attack, something extraordinary happened. Jeff grew to 10 times his regular size. Not something he can do in the game, by the way. Used the warrior woman. Must have been something he ate. The enlarged Jeff let out a squeal as he charged the guards, all of whom dropped their weapons and retreated as swiftly as possible. As soon as they were in the clear, Jeff beckoned Mantis and her friend to follow him. That's not the right way, friend, Mantis. We have found a hangar in the other direction. That hall will just lead you back to your cell. Jeff said confidently, fully aware what he was doing. Oh, I see. Good boy, Jeff. The women raced after the giant Jeff, back into the heart of Menagerie. Stand back, everyone, Mantis cried out directly to the minds of all the captive creatures. As the alien assemblage took cover within their cells, the massive land shark gave a mighty twirl, swinging its tail with tremendous force, and shattering through the outer glass walls of the countless enclosures. Life forms once trapped within suddenly emerged from holding and scattered in all directions, each seeking their own way out of the collector's custody. Jeff asked to begin to shrink back down to normal size. I know, Jeff, but we don't have time to save them all. At least not yet. Come on, their curious companion said. This may be our only chance. Together they entered the hangar, and Mantis located a spacecraft similar to the one she had flown during the times of Guardians of the Galaxy. Relief washed over her as she led her new teammates onto the ship and powered it up. We're finally free, the other woman said with relief. We can go home now. But the story courier paused. She didn't need Mantis' empathic abilities to sense the sadness radiating through Jeff's mind as he looked back towards the creatures rampaging through the theme park below them. And they will be free too, Mantis said reassuringly. We will find help and come back for them. We will free every single one of them, and we will make sure a collector pays for what he has done. How does that sound, little one? As the ship lifted off, Jeff responded as only he could, with a toothy grin and emphatic murder. Can't say that word, apparently. Jeff's does have costumes. This is his normal one. He is grayish blue, a little pink color. This is his winter uniform. This is not an alternate Jeff. This is just Jeff dressed up for the winter. This is his dolphin uniform. Incognito Dolphin. Just wanted the pink dolphin at the costume shop instantly, and he was perfect match to the best body of his outfit. Now no one would be afraid of him when swimming with his friends. And then we do have an alternate reality version of him, which is grayish. Gives him more of a shark look. Hey guys, so I need you not to freak out because this is Jeff and I love him and he's coming home with us. 2018 version of Jeff. This is just from Rivals Entanglement and from the winter version thing. And this is from 2021. Jeff's freaking cute. Don't hate on Jeff just because he eats you and throws you off the side. Loki. If I had to introduce you to Loki, you have not been paying attention to Marvels. Loki is a Asgardian god of mischief, technically an ice giant and not literally related to the Asgardians. But adopted and accepted, even though he's a little shit. In the latest MCU of Loki, he turned into the god of time streams. I hate to see what the god of time streams see in the entanglement look like. It's like he just got everything together, and suddenly all those time streams are going boop, and he is like, "Fuck." There's something quite curious. The sap bleeding from Yggdrasil had a new particularly magical essence. That's right. Yggdrasil, as it is leaking out some chromium, because Yggdrasil, if you don't know what it is a tree, but it's also a branching timeline device. It's the reason they can reach into other realities and other times. You would know this a lot if you played the God of War, where you use Yggdrasil to travel between realities. He began to experiment with the chronovium, shape it, concentrate it, intensify it. Time he discovered was the core of its essence, and right away he conceived an intense desire to visit a future Asgard, to see what mischief he might make there. Quickly he learned how to do just that. But he came away not only disappointed but frightened, and, not that he would ever have admitted it, saddened. For the future of Asgard, he believed, was ruin. Its throne broken and cast down, its collections looted, its surviving people grubbing in the ruins to survive. No, Loki thought, surely this is not Asgard's only future. He brewed the enchantment once more, discovered an Asgard overrun by Jotun, with Loki himself fronting on the throne of Asgard's people a little more than bones, and another Asgard in flames, with Surtur bestride the blazing trunk of his Yggdrasil, while the fabled towers of the realm collapsed in fiery rubble, and another, one stuffed and empty, the cask of eternal winters broken open in the throne room, and another shattered into drifting fragments against a sea of stars, and another impossibly sunk under an ocean with the vast shadows moving in the moonlit waters. Hundreds more, thousands more, as Asgard burned, frozen, overrun by dark elves or dwarves or enemies of Midgard, or the worlds beyond stars, a Kree devastated Asgard, and Asgard ravaged by Eternals, ruled by alien overworld whose minions oozed and sprang like living shadows. Hunting down the last of the realm's true subjects, in all of these, Loki did not find one thing which he truly searched, himself. And then, at the last, an Asgard mighty and unbroken, Asgard overarched by Yggdrasil's branches and underpinned by Yggdrasil's roots, her towers shining, her people vibrant and untroubled, her wealth untouched, and her throne occupied by Loki. He reeled back into his own time, mind aflame with the implications of what he had seen. How many destroyed Asgards had he witnessed, and after all that, to see the one surviving realm ruled by himself? Well, Loki thought, the only Asgard that survives this absurd misadventure is the one in which my true destiny is less acknowledged, my primacy accepted, my sovereignty celebrated, as it should be. Now remains the work of bringing this future to pass. Immediately, the crucial points of the plan presented themselves to him. First, of course, he would have to maneuver the Allfather into the deep entranced slumber of Odin's sleep. Tricky, but he had done it before. The biggest obstacle was making sure that Heimdall didn't notice until it was too late. Then Loki would use the Thor's desire to help their father against them, guiding him into a certain place where Loki wouldn't have to worry about him for a long time. But these were powerful enchantments, even for Loki. He was going to need to bring a co-conspirator or two. It'd be easy enough to betray them and rid himself of them later, but for a brief time they would be useful. Karnilla, of course. Aligning with the Norns was absolutely necessary if he was to retain rule of Asgard and not see it suffer any of the tragic fates he had witnessed. And while a master of magic, the Queen of Norns was no great schemer. At least not compared to the God of Lies. He also thought of Karnilla's closest ally, Hela. She was family, after all, and these kind of things should be kept in the family whenever possible. Also, she would be useful because of her past power of unlimited legions, who would keep the Valkyr and Crimson Hawks busy, leaving the throne unguarded. If Loki just figured out what to offer Hela in return. He manifested in her realm unannounced just because he could, and he knew it annoyed her. As soon as she sensed his presence, Hela sent an escort. This time, it was a routine of fallen Asgardian warriors riding skeletal horses and singing ghostly songs of the Asgardian dead who never made it to Valhalla. To the accompaniment of these mournful, disordered strains, Loki followed his escort to the Hela's throne. In this kingdom, bones twisted by dark magic paved the path to her castle, while particularly favored souls became feasts for Norm's clothes. Loki hated the decor even more than he hated the thought of Thor sitting on the throne of Asgard. Well, perhaps not quite that much. And speaking of thrones, Hela sat on hers. What do you know? It'd be cool if we get her realm. It needs to be really gross and cool looking, though. And speaking of thrones, Hela sat on hers, regarding him with imperious and icy stare as he approached and ghostly retinue vanished. Loki, she said, whatever foolish scheme has brought you here, be assured it will not succeed. Return to your realm and disturb me no further. Oh, sister, Great Queen, Whenever you call me Queen, Loki, or for that matter, sister, I know you want something. Tell me what it is, and spare me the insincere implication that you care about family. Oh, I do. I do very much. Our family rules realms, and we have a responsibility to rule them as well as possible. Unfortunately, we are not currently doing that, because I am not ruling Asgard. I propose to rectify this error, and you want my help. Yes. My plan will succeed with or without you, but as I said, we're family, and... For the time, she interrupts him. Why should I? Why, to be rid of the Allfather, whose time has passed, and to be rid of our beloved Odinson, who will otherwise succeed in the throne of Asgard. Which is the one thing you cannot stand to see happen. Loki did not give her satisfaction of green. You see, Loki, of all the master plotters, you are the easiest to predict, because all of your plots are ultimately about one thing. Loki inclined his head again, unwilling to make verbal acknowledgement. You have been working new magic. I smell it on you. Tell me. Ah, the sap of Yggdrasil. Observe. Loki cut a small notch in one of the world's tree roots. As the sap oozed out, he captured it and began to work charm to extract its essence. As a world tree shapes the limits of our realm, he said, the substance shapes the limits of our time. After a moment, he held a small ball of what looked like amber in the palm of his hand. Take it. It will show you the future of your realm, just as it showed me the future of mine. Yours. You speak of Asgard? Yes. That is why I wanted to see you. He placed the ball in Hela's hand and began to describe what he had seen. Ah, she said, when they returned the visionary voyage, this is quite deserving of an awe, but the real question is, will you help me? I will, but I have my own vision for this Chronovium, for it has fallen into my realm as well. In return for my help, you will help me bring this vision to fruition. Of course, Loki said, intending it to be a lie, and even he knew when an attempted lie might become an inadvertent truth. We do know that they eventually put Odin to sleep because of Adam's thing, and do become rulers. So our alternate Loki is MCU Loki, but this is the alternate MCU Loki from the TV show Loki. He even has his own time string gathering thing from the end of Loki. That Loki has his hands full with the entanglement, most likely. I pressed the wrong button. And his other costume is just him letting go of his Loki Asgardian form for full-on Ice Giant. And this appears to be a entanglement version of him. So either this is an Loki that never became the full-on Asgardian Loki, or this is just him going, well, Ice Giant for a minute. So more than likely, this Loki and this Loki are the same people. Okay, we're finally off page 1. Jesus. And now here's another character I have absolutely no idea about prior to Marvel Rivals. She is a mutant, and apparently something to do with the X-Men series. She's a part superstar, but she's like a pop star, like a literal pop star. She has snow powers, and she has healing powers. And she's always very star-studded, honestly. As for a person who's a star, she will gush about meeting Magneto or meeting Storm and stuff like that. She's always like, wow, people. High Summer on the Beach is... I think I've read some of this before. She looks like she's around a she's doing a actual show here when the ground began to shake. Horizon moved a slow bulge at first, but as it approached, it grew into a great waves, surging in the direction of the beachside amphitheater. A tsunami, but no ordinary tsunami, because behind it, no, within it, lurked an immense shadow, as if the wave had not arisen naturally, but was being driven by something below. How big would a creature have to be to cause a wave at this side? Already the water was dragged away from the shore. That meant she had very little time to act. So as she did, springing off the stage and rushing towards the beach as crowds scattered away, the wave was growing with no signs of stopping. She planted her feet when she reached the coastline, called up every atom of her cryokinetic powers. Singing in a high wordless note, she found the frequency of the wave and tuned herself to it. Feeling the power flow from her, through the wet sand at her feet and out into the base of the immense wave, dark ice shot up from the exposed seabed, threading up through the wave and spreading until the entire tsunami was frozen in place. Even though then less than a minute had passed since she had left the stage, Luna had managed to calm the seas for a moment. And a long moment it was. The only sounds along the beach being the astonished gasps of sobs of the audience. Then cracks began to appear. Something was moving within the ice, the shadows, she thought, and just as the thought formed in her head, the frozen standing wave from shattered. The moment of the tsunami was broken, so its towering water flowed across the shore and back to the sea, but what emerged amid the battleship's side-charged ice made Luna realize she had solved the symptom, but not the problem. The monster was perhaps 100 meters tall, octopus-sized. Oh, so what we have here is a Cthulhu-like creature. This is the creature of hell from worship within the Hydra. As the beast arose from the sea, she saw something else, a jagged wound in the side of its body, where its tentacles all gathered. The monstro. No wonder it's so mad. That cut is huge, she thought. She skated. Is she going to heal it? Is Monstro the one, or is it just a different one? That bizarre organ flowing in massive form, his eyes were pure mindless rage. She had heard suspenseful tales of this creature, or thought it was real, the menace from the murky depths. I'm pretty sure this is the one that Hydra worships, but I'm not positive. They do worship a Cthulhu-like creature. I think Monstro might be it. If I'm wrong, correct me. No wonder it's so masked. That cut is huge, she thought as she skated towards the base of one tentacle. Just below the corner of its eye, the creature, most definitely enraged by agony of its wound. If it got to the shore, a lot of people would not be making it home from the island. But she wasn't going to let that happen. Hey, Monstro, she crooned, taking a step forward as Monstro's tentacles turned the shallows into the foam that swirled around her feet. One of its tentacles slashed to the air just overhead. If she got too close, or didn't get close enough, all the people watching the amphitheater and via the streams, all of the world were going to see the end of Luna Snow, and who knew how many other people. She focused on what she could do. She channeled her powers, the light eyes she had learned how to wield, as other aspects of her cryokinesis blooming where her fingertips touched the churning surface. She reached out, and the water around Monstro's body transformed into trembling veins of warm, healing ice. They crept up, finding the wound and tracing its length. Luna trembled with the effort of healing the wound. It was so much larger than anything else she had tried to heal before. Behind her, she dimly heard a new sound rushing through the crowd, but whether it was fear, excitement, or anticipation, she couldn't tell without losing her focus. And if she lost her focus now, much more would be lost. Little by little, the healing ice grew filaments across the wound. One side reached towards the other. Monstro grew still, and as if it knew what she was trying to do, or was biding its time until she failed. There. The ice leaked up across the bleeding gap, knitted together again, then melted into Monstro's skin. Its tentacles fell in limp for a moment. Then Luna heard a voice out of her sight. Surface dweller, so-called superstar, Luna Snow. She turned, barely suppressed a squeak of shock. Hovering above her on winged feet was none other than Nemor, ruler of Telikan, and all the endless suspense of the devotion. Apparently he wanted to talk to her. Luna was a little star-struck, see, I told you. Which didn't happen to her often. Yes, it did. But often she kept her wits about her to make sure their Mike was still alive. Your Majesty, welcome to Juju Island. You need not welcome me to what I'm about to possess. Nemor said. Telikan shall soon rule this island, and all the surface dwellers venture will before me. I don't know about that, Your Majesty. At the moment, I think it's pretty clear that I rule Jeju Island. I mean, look at this crowd. The running crowd burst into loud cheers at this. Luna and Nemor soaked in it for a moment. He might have been a mutant king, but she was Luna Snow, and nobody was going to bully her in front of a million fans. Careful, human. I come here to give you my thanks. While I admire your courage, if you show me any more disrespect, I promise these will be cut short. Luna gave a little chuckle. In that case, you're welcome. And what are you thanking me for? The creature you call Monstro, Nemor said. It was wounded by the careless maneuvering of a submarine, and thus driven into frenzy by pain. Okay, this may not be the Hydra Cthulhu, then. Yeah, no one likes a bad cut. Wait, a submarine? How fast can those things go anyway? The technological specialization of the surface dweller vessels matter little to me. They will all soon be laid to waste. However, the fact that the Monstro and its madness destroyed some settlements at Telikan did concern me. You have saved not just lives of surface dwellers, but citizens of the deep of my people, so for that you have our gratitude. Oh, wow, I don't know what to say. Perhaps you saved anything. Not when more singing remains. That glint of good humor in Number's eye. A subtle warning from Luna to stay in her lane. She wasn't sure until Number spoke in. Let the humans here have one more night's revelry before the ocean rises. Since you're here, care to join me for an encore? Luna reached out her hand to Namor, hoping her music might help ease tensions of two worlds clearly. The surface dwellers will get to see it for them soon enough, and when that time comes, those who are wise will be cheering my name louder than they cheer yours. I find that hard to imagine. You can't force people to love you, Namor. You have to earn it, and that's exactly what I'm trying to do on the stage, every single night. The bond I have with my fans is something that's no monster of the deep. Believe me, you can never take away. Luna's icy gaze sent a chill down Namor's spine. But she quickly switched back to her usual positive persona the instant she turned to face the crowd. So who's ready to get this show restarted? Even monstrous words couldn't have been heard over the pandemonium of the crowd. Music, Luna thought. It brings people together. But as she watched her grim Namor silently disappear back into the ocean's depths, she wondered how much longer that would be the case. Interesting. So yeah, I'm not too familiar with Luna, so I do believe she's Korean. Or something. I don't know. She does have some mild cosmetics. We have minty beats. A wild invite from Douglas Ramsey today, performer Krakoa. But he said dressed like mint chocolate chip ice cream. And since this is the Giant Island's favorite flavor, first I thought that she wanted to eat me, but every single branch was grooving to the beat. And we get this one, Shining Star, which is the Rivals. Are they both Rivals? They're both Rivals versions. Both Entanglement versions. Tonight marks the anniversary of Soul He's debut as Luna Soul. Luna Snow. Gazing at the sea of fans who have been with her every step of the way. She takes a deep breath and declares, "Let's bloom in the moonlight." Okay. Magic. Magic is a technical human. I don't know if she's a mutant or just full-on human, but she was stolen to the underworld by a demon of some kind, and then left in the dimension known as Limbo. There we go. In Limbo, she destroyed the ruler and became the ruler. She now rules Limbo. She has two forms: her human form and her new demonic form. And her sword is said to be made with a piece of her soul. Okay, she has a mutant ability to create portals that allow her to teleport through the nether realm called Limbo. Rasputin, I wonder if she's related to... Dun, 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 dun. Sorry, I'm not going to sing Rasputin's. Flames rose high in another world known as Limbo, and the sinister demons who dwell in the cursed realm bowed in reverence. After all, most and every day the most powerful magicians in the multiverse grace the dimension of the presence. Wanda Maximoff may have been the sorcerer supreme in her home reality, but despite her power and status, she was merely an honored guest. For in Limbo, no one was powerful as the queen of the realm, Lyanna Rasputin, a mutant known as Magic. Magic had recently returned from the battlefront of a timeline-spanning war against malevolent gods and demons that showed no signs of stopping. Limbo may have been no more than Scorched Wasteland. She'd admit she was glad to be home. At least until the moment a portal opened and Wanda walked through, because in all reality, when the Scarlet Witch turned her eyes upon mutants, there was no predicting what might happen next. "What brings you to my kingdom, Witch?" Magic asked, her Russian accent sharpening her every word like tiny daggers. It's clear she was not thrilled to be called upon during a brief moment of respite. Lyanna's cold gaze would likely have sent the chill down spines of even the fiercest subjects, but Wanda would seem far worse in her time defending her own collapsing reality. "I've come to gather allies for the great war beyond the ones here." "I already have plenty of allies," Magic said, with a smile, motioning a horde of demons kneeling nearby. "On your command, and as for wars, we are not already facing too many here." "Unlike this, countless time streams have become entangled. At first I thought it was merely my own dimension that was in peril, but Steven showed me otherwise." "Steven?" Magic paused. It had been ages since she had heard that name. Could it be that her former mentor in the mystic dark arts, Dr. Strange, was still alive? "Yes," said Wanda. "Dr. Strange showed me that there are battles on the horizon far greater than any I could have comprehended." I can hardly imagine a conflict bigger than the ones I've been facing, mused Magic, but Stephen always taught me that the problems I can see often meant to distract from the ones I can't. Indeed, Wanda concurred. We all have become so embroiled in our own conflicts that we have been missing the bigger picture. With that, Scarlet Witch opened her palm and conjured up a scroll of red chaos magic. Inside the frenzied wisp of energy, an image coalesced, showing the greatest heroes from every reality clashing against one another. That doesn't look good at all, Magic said, her confidence smirk disappearing from her face. For the first time since meeting this mighty message began. But if Stephen has you on his side, why would you need me? Clearly your skills as a sorcerer far surpass my own. I deal in chaos magic, Wanda replied, but your magic taps into the soul. And when so many souls across so many dimensions are in peril, that kind of power may just be what we need. True, soul's a powerful thing, Magic said, as she reached her arm out to her side, clenching the hand to a fist. Within her grip, the hilt of a sword began to materialize, manifesting the energy drawn directly from Liliana's own essence. As a sword's blade, longer and wider than a young woman her size should have been able to properly wield, took form, she raised it to point directly at Scarlet Witch's throat. But even a soul of pure snowflake can be corrupted. Burst of hellfire magic herself began to transform. Up here, twisted horns emerged from her forehead as she pointed tilts slithered down from the base of her spine. Eldritch armor wrapped her now demonic figure. Liliana gave a wicked smile that exposed her freshly sharpened fangs. The citizens of Limbo hollered as their queen took her most majestic form, leaving magic behind to become the Dark Child. Wanda posed for a moment, wondering if perhaps she should have called upon a different version of magic from another reality instead, one who had not yet fully embraced her place in Limbo's throne. Put down the sword, darling, a gruff voice said. Wanda ain't lying. None of these times, at least. Not this time, at least. We're all on the same side here. And I don't care about how big those horns of yours these days. Through the towering fires of flame stepped a mutant Liliana knew well. The man named Logan, Wolverine. You'll always be the little girl I used to know. It was clear the creatures of Limbo knew Wolverine was well. Mere moments before they had been building their frenzy as they cheered Demon towards wanton violence. Now their silence was tangible with great fear. Damn, Logan. Logan's claws were fully extended, already dripping in the blood demons, foolish enough to stand in his way. They may have been her loyal subjects, but magic felt no remorse for those who had fallen in Logan's hand. They should have known better than cross his path. Logan, what brings you to this place? Wanda inquired. Search and rescue mission. We've been gathering lost mutants, bringing them back home to Krakoa. In case you hadn't noticed, the time stream is a bit of a mess. Krakoa is one of the few places that's still safe, in any timeline, at least for the moment. I hate to disappoint, but I'm not in need in sanctuary. I have things under control. Sure you do, sweetheart, Wolverine replied, his sarcasm probable. But I never said I came to get you. Then who? Wanda asked curiously. Just a kid. Doesn't even have a code name yet, but she does have some sort of dimensional warping ability. Made a portal and got sucked into it. Luckily for her, the thing stayed open long enough for me to jump it through after her. She's probably terrified of being lost in a realm like this. Imagine the trauma. I don't have to imagine it. I lived it myself, and I won't let another mutant go through what I did. Follow me. As magic began to run, her dark child form receded, and her true self took control once more. Shouldn't I be the one leading, darling? I'm the expert tracker here. And I am the queen of this dimension. You always have my respect, Logan. But in this place I am charged. Now be a good boy and try not to dispel any more of my subjects along the way, would you? No promises, Wolverine muttered under his breath as the three heroes rushed across the rocky, fire-strewn landscape in search of a missing mutant. Although they came to this place for different reasons, the queen, the witch, the hunter, all managed to set aside their personal desires to serve the needs of one missing child. There's no doubt that, despite hailing from disparate realities, they all shared the same heroic spirit. I can sense her presence just ahead, Wanda said as they reached the mouth of the small cave. Reality is spinning around her, but a simple hex can set that right. Scarlet Witch moved her hand like an expert surgeon, weaving a complex spell to stabilize time and space. But chaos magic is not always predictable, and while reality itself may have stopped shifting, the rocks surrounding the cave's mouth had suddenly become dangerously displaced. Rock slide! Barked Logan as he raced forward towards the hole in the cliff wall, but he was a split second too late. Debris blocked his path. His efforts to slash through the dense boulders with the adamantium claws yielded little progress. Undeterred, the Queen of Limbo stepped forward towards the pile of rubble, casually opening a small circle in the sky in front of her with her own mutant power. These stepping discs, as she called them, usually allowed her to traverse across distances and dimensions. This time, however, it provided her safe exit for a very frightened young girl. Nothing to worry about now, kiddo, Luna said as the young mutant child wrapped her arms around her hero tightly. I'll get you home, safe and sound. How'll you do that? Asked Magic. Her powers are too unpredictable, and to be honest, my stepping just happened much better for cross-dimensional travel since the time stream got turned upside down. This old dog's got a few new tricks. Bum grinned. He silently knelt down, pulling a small seed from one of the pouches on his belt. Popping a single claw to carve a hole in Limbo's rocky soil, he planted the seed in the ground, and within moments it began to sprout. A vine took form, growing and twisting into a shape that resembled a large doorway. Once the vine began to flower, the open, empty space in its circle began to crackle with strange energy, and suddenly the flames of Limbo were no longer visible on the inside, but rather as sun-kissed shores of mutant Gaia Krakoa. Well, you coming or not, Rasputin? Magic hesitated for a moment. She wished to witness firsthand the safe haven for her people that her old friend had spoken of, yet she still had a war to fight in another dimension, and more importantly, a critical discussion to finish with the Scarlet Witch. Perhaps this was the very opportunity that Wanda had spoken of, a chance to bring together mixed forces from across realities to combat the dangers ahead. I will join you, Magic finally replied, but only Wanda can come as well. Sorry, but Krakoa only lets mutants pass through its gates, and last I checked, Wanda here was only mutant adjacent. Nothing a little chaos Magic can't fix, Wanda said with a smile. With a gentle touch, the arcane energy of X danced across the organic outer edge of Krakoan Gateway. The white flowers on the vine turned to deep crimson. Surely a sign that Wakanda was now welcome to pass through. You want chaos, Wanda? You want chaos, Wanda? So wait till Magneto gets a look at you. So, in case you didn't know, a little spoiler for maybe future movies, plug your ears for the next 10 seconds. Wanda Maximoff, in some realities, is the daughter of Magneto. In some realities, one the other doesn't exist, and they have no relation to each other, but a lot of realities related. Which means technically Wanda is sort of mutant-ish, but her power isn't mutant. She doesn't have mutant powers from what I can tell. And we were just at Magic. Oop. So she has a few alternates. I actually have this. This is an alternate of hers. Turned everything purple. I like it because it reminded me of the dark crystals from Fortnite. This is original form, more yellow. Not a big yellow fan to begin with. Original form, demon? Purple form demon? Eldritch Armor from 1983. He used black sorcery responsibly. It's his fault that Peter is gone, and he's going to pay. I don't know what that reference is. Eldritch Armor. This form has much more of a, fawn-like look to it. She looks less demonic here. More fawn. Fantasy style. Even her tail's different. A little, not too much, but everything's different. Also, her soul sword is sort of soul edge looking now. And its grown form looks more crystallized and has floating things, looking more like soul edge. And then we have a Rivals version. Most likely, she's just kind of getting used to her multi-dimensional form now, so she went in for some Christmas fun with the other three, and demonic Christmas form actually looks completely different. This is alien looking. You can see a little glass orb here in the middle, some runes. Her tail has ice on it. She's got ice shoulder blades. She's got a little wing. Her hair is pretty much all gone in replacement for wings. Got a yellow jacket that came out of nowhere, by the way. She's got some hooves. Yeah, they have those. It's the lack of fur which makes it look all weird. And this looks familiar. I've seen this kind of face before, but I'm not sure from what. It doesn't look like her other demonic forms at all. So, Icebound version of her, I guess. Who knows? Didn't we have Magneto? Speaking of Wanda's dad. If you don't know Magneto, again, this is one where you've been living under the rock since he's been in countless movies and is one of the biggest X-Men adjacent, not really villains. Magneto is a mutant with the power over metal. He was a child during World War II when he found out that he had his powers and survived the encampment. He was a Jew, so he was encamped along with uh, his friend Savior. Now, not all realms follow the storyline, but this is in a bunch of them, including some of the movies. His power is basically magnetism. He has the ability to bend and wield metal as his will, including shaping metal, making metal fly around, stopping metal. Whatever you can do with metal, he can do with metal for his magnetism powers. Here he carries metal as a circlet at his back that counts as his weapon. As you shoot metal out, you'll see the circlet grow smaller until you reload it. And I do notice that if he is with his daughter, the circlet will become enchanted, allowing him access to a better sword. He normally has a sword he can wield, but with the enchanted sword, it makes him super powered. Are you sleepy? Are you going to eat my toes? Okay, go to sleep, little kicker. You're kicking me. Why are you kicking me? Don't kick me. Why are you kicking me? This is better than biting my toes. What are you doing to my toe, you weirdo? She's kicking me. She's sniffling. She's a weird little cat. It's so cute. The Trials of Magneto. So Krakoa, I believe... I don't remember if I know where Krakoa is. But was it an X-Men related place? I don't know. As he gazed off the distance to the line where the ocean met sky, Magneto's cape fluttered gently in the calm breeze that was drifting across the coast. Magneto's always been not super anti-human just for being anti-human, but pro-mutant. He's always seen mutants as the next group of a race that was abused to almost to death, and in some dimensions they are pretty much wiped out by humans. And so his thought is that that violence needs to be met with violence in a lot of different dimensions, instead of letting, people be like the Nazis and letting them take control until it's too late, striking first and taking them out. They're on the sentient island nation of Krakoa. So Krakoa is an island that is sentient. That's interesting. It's swept up in a coronal storm, a time-twisting anomaly that would have ripped the island to bits if not for Oro's deft manipulation of stimulus currents. Instead of becoming lost in time stream forever, Krakoa arrived safely in other side of Tempest in the year 2099. The future that mutant had always dreamed was finally theirs to claim, and Magneto was never to let such an auspicious opportunity pass them by. So it's unclear here if they are from the modern era of 2099 or if they passed through a time rift or they passed through dimensions. It's unclear. I'm going to assume they were from modern area of 2099 and passed through the time rift to arrive in 2099. It matters not century but century and storms here too. What matters is that our people have a home in Krakoa. Thanks to you, Eric. Magneto cringed as his old friend called him by his human name. True, he had gone by many of them over the decades. Max Ironsheart, Eric Lancher, Magnus, but there were monikers he had merely tolerated in order to better fit into the world where Homo sapiens still believe themselves in control. Here, in this new era, he would choose the name that spoke who he truly was, Magneto, the mutant master of magnetism. I'm leading the cause to find our fellow mutants and bring them to the safe harbor, my dear. The success of the crusade cannot be attributed to one mutant alone. Damn right, bub. A grizzled voice snarled from the edge of the jungle, bordering Krakoa shore. Magneto and Storm both turned to see a familiar figure walking down the newly blossomed Krakoan gate. A short, hairy figure looked as though he had just been held back, and knowing Wolverine could very literally be the case. Aside Wolverine stood a young mutant, just old enough for her powers to begin manifesting. Found the kid who got sucked through that dimensional rift, Wolverine continued. She's lucky I went in there after her. Limbo was no place for a new mutant. I couldn't agree more, another voice said, this one with a hint of Russian accent. The new mutant has managed just fine there. Oh, I couldn't disagree more. This new mutant has managed just fine there. Illyana, can it be truly be? Storm rushed over to the young woman who had just stepped through the gateway, instantly wrapping her in an embrace. For years, Illyana Rasputin, the mutant teleporter known as Magic, had been like a daughter to Storm, before she was claimed by the darkness of Limbo before. Nice to see you too, Will Drider, Magic said in a comfortable smirk. It's been longer than I care to remember. Magneto stepped towards the new arrival, not embracing her, but examining her closely instead. There was something strange about her. It was clear that she walked a far different path than the young Rasputin of this world. So, this Rasputin is not from 29 and 9's dimension. You are not the child we once knew, but you are welcome here in Krakoa. All mutants are, regardless from where they hail. How about people who grew up thinking they were mutants, only to have their entire world turned upside down where they learned the truth years later? Magneto audibly gasped that the question was asked by another woman who had just arrived at the Krakoan gate. His gaze instantly shifted over to her as she walked forward. Her every step stirred ripples across his memory, for he had been there when she had taken her very first ones so many years ago. Wanda. Hello, Father, Scarlet Witch said as she approached Magneto, with a calm confidence that few had ever shown in her presence. She reached up and began to slowly remove Magneto's helmet, an action that would have almost certainly been met with instant retaliation should anyone else attempt it. But Magneto stood as silent as solid steel, simply basking in the magic of his long-lost daughter's company. His stoic expression softened as Wanda leaned in and gave him a gentle kiss on the cheek. How could you be here? Magneto managed to say. He could have been adamantine in any shape with his mutant powers, but these simple words were somehow nearly impossible to form. It took bigger work. I'm technically not a mutant like you, after all, which means Krakoa wouldn't normally let me through its gates, but a touch of chaos magic did the trick. Took to say is, oh. Wanda's playful tone vanished after the stage magician's pet rabbit. You're Wanda. She's gone, isn't she? I'm sorry, this must be difficult. Quite the opposite, Magneto said, regaining his composure. To see your face again, to hear your voice, to know that somewhere in the vast multiverse the version of you still thrived, is perhaps the least difficult thing I could ever conceive. It is all that any father ever wants. I wouldn't say I've been thriving exactly. I've been holding my own universe together by threads far, far too long. I truly believe that I was its only hope to survive. Like father, like daughter, chuckled Wolverine. But I started to see the bigger picture. We're all fighting our own wars. The only chance we have of winning them, keeping up all our universes intact, if we start fighting together. Speaking of fighting, I'm late for a date with Natasha, Wolverine said. We've got ourselves a tin-plated dictator that needs overthrowing. Magneto almost chastised Wolverine for entrancing himself in petty squabbles between humans of this era, but he paused for a moment and considered his daughter's words. Perhaps she was right. Perhaps his own war was to preserve mutant kind, was just one battle of many, all of them equally important. Since Krakoa arrived in the future, my allegiance has been to mutant kind alone, said Magneto. I felt it best to isolate our people in order to protect them, but your words inspire me, my dear. It is clear that no mutant is an island. Except Krakoa, da. In order to commit such allegiance, however, it must be a mutually beneficial one. Magneto continued. There are some mutants out there, lost across space and time, who require assistance in order to lead them home. That sounds like the perfect task for the Sorcerer Supreme. But I'll require your help. As fond as I am of your classic look, I think we're in need of a helmet that's a bit more functional. Of course, Magneto said, raising his hand in the air. At the moment, tiny scraps of metal buried beneath the sand of Krakoa's beaches converged and reshaped themselves into a complex yet familiar device once worn by Charles Xavier himself. Cerebro. If I recall, old school Cerebro was capable of tracking down mutants anywhere in the world, said Wanda. But a few arcane enchantments should expand the helmet search area to include adjacent dimensions as well. Like you said, all mutants are welcome here, regardless of where they hail. Well, said Magic, her eyes burning with anticipation. Try it on already, old man. The moment Magneto put on the helmet, he saw flashes of powerful mutants scattered across the multiverse. The telepathic ninjas trapped in a strange world of unholy amusements. Yep. A powerful cosmic presence determined to burn the darkness out of the night sky. And I don't know who that is. Could that be Adam? Is Adam a mutant? And 1,000 more, each yearning to defy fate and to find their place in ever-shifting cavalcade of timelines and realities. There is much work to be done, far more than I expected. When do we begin? No time better than the present, or future, I guess, wherever we are. You have given mutants a gift this day, Wanda, Magneto said proudly. Your efforts will not be forgotten. I'm going to hold you to that, and when the time comes, the army that you're about to gather may very well be the one that tips the balance in our favor. Then let us speak a call to all mutants across time and space, Magneto continued. The gates of Krakoa are open to them. In the words of a dear old friend, to me, my X-Men. Oh, That was nice. I'm assuming that since they were shoved in the future, they don't have Charles. You two are cute. So I look down, and in the bed, she is curled, and then laying right next to him is Mello. They're like besties sometimes, and you're sleeping next to each other. Mellow's not quite all in the bed; she's kind of hanging out of it. Oh yeah, la. Okay, we're on to Moon Knight. Lots of talking today, isn't it? Moon Knight is Mark Spector, the avatar of Egyptian goddess. Yeah, you know. If you haven't seen the Moon Knight show, by the way, I recommend it. It was really good. Come to me by Moon Knight. The ancient voice boomed in the back of Mark Spector's brain, momentarily throwing him off his game. It wasn't as if hearing someone else's words in his head was something new. He'd been sharing space with multiple personalities for years, but this wasn't Jake Lockley or Stephen Grant. It wasn't even Jack Indian Magnet Mr. Knight. This was the boss. I'm a bit busy, Spectre replied out loud, as he thrust his white boot into the base of yet another variously scarred supervillain. Trying to keep the Zodiac from ransacking one of your temples. You sent me here, remember? So you'll need to call back another. Now, the voice commanded. A sudden burst of pain coursed through Pastor's skull. He closed his eyes for a moment to try and clear his head. When he opened them, he was no longer at the heart of the epic battle between good and evil. In fact, he was nowhere. Okay, so nowhere might be a bit dramatic. It was best that Spectre could come up with to describe the blank white space between planes. I have chosen you for a new battle, my avatar, the ancient voice said finally. Ikanshu. Spectre replied casually to his patron. Fancy seeing you here. This divine space is where I dwell. It is from here that I watch the realms beyond and find those who have earned my vengeance. Yeah, and from here that you sit pretty well, I do your dirty work in the real world. This has been our arrangement since your untimely demise years ago. It was on fate you were spared by my intervention alone. Do you all wish to alter argument? No, but I'd like to finish one mission before you toss me into the next one. Maybe that's the mercenary in me. I've always appreciated your dedication to a task, but more pressing matters have arisen that require special attention. Okay, let's see what we got here. Oh, he's going to send him to fight the vampires. And Dracula owes me money. Guys, subspotting. Ooh, Doom walked into Khonshu's territory. Oh, why does he have Dormammu's power? Versus that granted them immortal life, and in my calculations correct. Which they always are. The Sims fail may hold the key to unlocking the very nature of time itself. I wish to study it further. I know full well. So this is after he spoke to Doctor Strange, but before he screwed up the timeline. God, Doom is such a baby. Ah, Blade reference. I'm no Vampire Slayer. Isn't it Blade Seed? Why not call him? So Moon Knight, if you don't know him, is a schizophrenic who has several personalities, mostly caused by the fact that he has a god living inside his brain, which is Khonshu. He was killed a while ago, but he was brought back to life by Khonshu to serve him as Moon Knight. Moon Knight is Batman, only instead of hiding in the dark, he wears white to show himself off at night. And he is also not, he doesn't have a problem with killing. Otherwise, I don't think he has actual superpowers. He just has a lot of weapons and training. Moon Knight has a few ones. One was just released. This is Mr. Knight. In the TV version of him, this is basically just Mark Spector, um, regular bumbling form, dressed up in Moon Knight's powers. And this is Lunar General, which just released. Loud. To celebrate the Chinese New Year, which is something weird because I don't know if China can even play this. I guess we have Chinese outside of China, but like they do the Chinese New Year thing in Fortnite, and Fortnite's basically unplayable in China. That thing's funny. This is Namor. Namor is basically Marvel's version of Aquaman, one of the few characters where he's more. Their version is more popular in DC than here. Another one I'd say Batman's more popular than Moon Knight. Namor basically has no reference in the MCU outside a little time inside a fairly failed movie called Aquaman. Aquaman, I'm sorry. Failed movie called Aquaman's DC. What movie was he in? He was in a movie. Maybe they'll tell me in the cosmetics. Wakanda. He was in Wakanda. That wasn't a failed movie, actually. Honestly, I don't know. Did Wakanda Forever do good? Wakanda Forever was the second movie. I don't know if it did any good. Born in Union being human and alien, Namor has always been a man of two worlds. Namor seems to be wanting to lead his underworld, Ventlian, into attack of the top world to take over, but never goes through with it. Oh, he wants to go to Krakoa, the home of the mutants. This would suggest that he is in the modern version of 2099. It's unclear. That time stream shit is freaking confusing sometimes. Was not sure you'd be coming, Magneto said. Ooh, Storm's pissed. Ooh, this Magneto is anti-genocide even against humans. Ooh. She's gonna war against the mutants? See, that's not very smart of Namor. God. Okay, so Namor is apparently an idiot. We have his Wakanda Forever garb, which gives him kind of the regal outfit that he had in the movie. Again, I haven't seen Wakanda Forever. And then we have a purple one, which seems just to change his hues over to purple. Mauve Submariner. This one's for Rivals, so apparently this one's arrived currently in Rivals. It changes his hue to purple. His hair goes white. Don't know what story implications that I have. Here is Penny Parker. Now, while she loads up, Penny Parker is a daughter of one of the Peter Parkers, but she is from Tokyo. I don't know. I believe she is part Japanese, but I'm not positive. She's also from the year 2099, so the Peter Parker of this world was a lot later. She doesn't have the superpowers of Spider-Man, but instead is linked. She can make like mech stuff, and she's linked to this robot behind her. Sort of the style of Neo Genesis Evangelion, which is why I chose this costume for her as my favorite, because this is the Neo Genesis robot, honestly. So Penny Parker has been leading the webheads against Doom, or one of the many running against Doom, but she's also been researching the new Web of Destiny break and timeline entanglement. Also, apparently, this Peter ran the Spider Mech. It wasn't hers. She's obviously young, a teenager. Angled towards the nexus at the heart of the web of life and destiny, the master. Penny did, though, and she had a plan. Spider, what do you think I'm thinking? Spider was. Penny tensed the Spider leapt away from the web strand she was sitting on, falling towards the Doombot. She timed it to time that's just right, or it would be a long fall to the ground somewhere. And Spider might be able to handle the fall, but the shock of landing wouldn't do Penny any good. But her timing as a trout was perfect. The Doombot noticed her far too late. Just as she had shot her own web out from Spider's spinnerets and used a web strand to snap around her in a long arc. The Doombot barely turned around when Spider slammed into it feet first. Sparks shot from his chassis, and bits of armor plating struck to nearby strands of the web as the Doombot tumbled away into the neon speckled sparkness below. Penny finished off the maneuver with a perfect thruster-assisted double somersault that landed her on the upper strand of the web, close enough to the nexus where she could see both the Master and Weaver and Spider-Zero. They were talking, and Penny didn't want to interrupt, so she hung upside down, just because, until Spider-Zero headed out onto one of his web strands, making little repairs as she went. Penny noticed Spider-Zero removing stuck bits of Doombot armor on her way and felt a little guilty. But hey, she'd done what the hero had to do, protect the web. Still, did either Doom ever run out of those things? I suspect not. A familiar voice by her side. Penny jumped. It was the Master Weaver. Hey, did you just read my mind? Not exactly. I sensed certain vibrations on the web, and they suggested to me what you were thinking. Right. Same diff. Hey, I've been meaning to ask you. I've been doing some experiments in my dad's lab. My lab now? I mean, chronovium. Wow. What is this stuff anyway? Here, it has become part of the web, the Master Weaver replied, but all things are entirely part of the web. Before Penny could rephrase the question, the Master had passed on to another part of the web. She decided to take that same question to Spider Zero. Also, she wanted to know if anybody knew when Doom was going to attack the web itself. That seemed like a near certainty, since there was just about always Doombots around it, but nobody ever wanted to talk about it. Hey, Penny called when she was close up enough. What are you writing? A message to another version of myself, Spider Zero said. How do you know where to find other versions of yourself? That's part of what Master Weaver is teaching me, Spider Zero said. I can listen in on an infinite number of other worlds and futures. Sometimes I can even influence them a little. So you could do something about Doom or the time stream enablement? Well, possibly. That is, if you'll forget the expression, a very tangled web. Tugging one strand will have all kinds of unpredictable effects. I won't take any action until I've had more time to trace the path of each strand. How much time? Don't know. More than we've got with so much happening. Because anyway, there are more Doombots climbing the web to get to you and Master Weaver, Penny said. Penny had just spotted them, jutting upward from the ground. Spider looked down. Spider looked down. Uh-huh, she said. She scribbled something on the piece of paper and stuck it to a bit of chronovium. Then she pushed through a tiny portal that opened briefly, like a soap bubble, by her hand. The minute she pushed the message through, the portal was gone. Just a second after that, all the Doombots were gone too, swallowed up by a larger version of that portal that appeared around them and blinked them out of existence. Whoa. That sounded cooler than I did. Oh, it's not a competition. We all protect the web in our own ways. Speaking of, you know the guy sooner or later Doom is going to get sick of sending Doombots. He'll show up and finish the job himself. Okay, we'll just keep reading this. So this is before they're split. I do know that at some point, Spider Zero and the Master Weaver will split up on decisions, and Penny will do her own thing. All three will have like their own goal here. Okay, so it doesn't really show much on the actual storyline there for Penny. Interesting. I got the Penny story, I think, from the comic. Well, little I saw the comic book. From what I understand, she's trying to plug one of her robots into the, I'm not sure if the Web of Destiny or into the, the entanglement to see what happens. We do see the results in one of the endings of the escort mission where we fly through a rift into another Tokyo. This is the original version, black and red Spider-Bot. In this world, apparently Spider-Man wasn't a super mutant, but instead a mech person. This is an olive one. And it has to do with data, apparently. I have no idea. I do like this slick white outfit, though. It's kind of cool looking. And then this is the Venom. Abby is no longer. Me is no longer. We are one. We are Venom. So this is a Venom tech. Don't know exactly what it's to do, but it looks like it's from 2018. Likely has to do with Venom. Venom could still be a symbiote in this version. Venom could be a virus. I know very little of Penny Parker, outside what little I know of from Into the Spider-Verse. Psylocke, that's her name. So if you aren't familiar with this X-Men related lady, you may recognize her outfit from Fortnite. This is the outfit she is in Fortnite. Psylocke is a psychic warrior and possibly mutant. Yeah, mutant. She was captured. We've seen her escape from the um, collector, so we'll just go in here and see if there's anything new. Assuming Logan is not Wolverine Logan. Logan is a dog. Okay, so this is after the escape. She is doing a Peter Quill move. Hmm. Spacewell. Is this not a scene? Oh, no, I'm thinking of Star Wars. This is a scene inside Star Wars, actually. Agreed. Even if we did have option to burn, I doubt the Conte would be thrilled to set his insides ablaze. Oh, it looks like they're headed to Clintar. So this is after the crash on Clintar. Oh, and now this is during the Toomey, my X-Men part. Is it gonna let Jeff in? He's not technically a mutant, is it? So what is this? Psylocke HT? I don't know what that is. Okay, so that gave us a little more story into the escape. They're being chased down by the Collector's forces. They escape in a space whale. There's something we've seen in Star Wars before, technically, and drive the parasites out of it. Oh, wait, her forms. Stop. This is the original form she comes with. Kind of a Japanese skirt look. Well, samurai-like. Pretty cool looking. This is sort of her old X-Men style form. It's very revealing, honestly. Um, but it's also my favorite costume of hers. And this is also sort of the costume she shows up in Fortnite with a little difference around it. Huh? Ew. I don't know, but look over here. And this is her other form. This is just a color. It says Kirisuke Sakura. April is the season of Sakura. Now Kirisuke Mountain has a brief moment of calm. Cyan Logan bathed in the light of the moon and star. Oh. Little cat's up. Time is currently 12 o'clock, so not too late. Okay, our next person is Rocket. I'll be glad to know that the next season's only gonna have like 4 more characters instead of having to go through this many characters. Rocket is, of course, the Guardian of the Galaxy, and he's still a Guardian. In the last movie, you haven't seen, I guess, light spoilers, when the Guardians kind of pick up, he becomes the leader of the Guardians and leads the new Guardians. Him and Groot stay Guardians. Let's see where he is. We know that he was in Clintar. We don't know when this sword will pick up. We're telling him, actually. Okay, so we're going right in between where Groot lost track of when he gets attacked by the Venom people. Oh, that explains what we see in game. A miniature gravity well. So they aren't familiar with this species, the Guardians. They could turn these into like CG cutscenes instead of shit for us to read. That'd be just as entertaining, and might be fairly popular, or at least in the comic book versions. We've got aliens here, pretty much Rocket versus aliens. He doesn't know what symbiotes are, apparently. Well, we do know that Groot comes to save him. So this is original Rocket, which is basic blue form, Rocket's giant red gun. This is the Christmas form. The red gun has been turned into something way different. Like down here, it looks like it has little moving parts that run the beam on it. Here, it looks more like a cannon, I guess. Of course, he's also wearing warmer clothes for winter, and he gets kind of techie goggles on and a hat. Other than that, he looks pretty much the same, so it could be considered this is the same Rocket. We have MCU Rocket, which of course looks different. He doesn't have the red eyes that the comic book Rocket has, the regular eyes. Fur's a little more tame. He's wearing the clothes from the show, including the boots. His gun's fairly similar, just colored differently. A little different. I do like that they changed the weapons around a bit. And then we have the alt color, which is known Rocky. Lord of the Wings kidnapped my Lily on my soulmate. Really makes me fur fly. First appears in Rocket Raccoon. Don't know who this is, honestly. It could still be just an alternate Rocket. It's got grayish fur, like a regular raccoon. All the raccoons around here have grayish fur. So we call Mommy Cat our little raccoon because she got very fur and she's chunky. He's got blue eyes instead of red eyes. Gray, black. His clothes are green and gray, but otherwise just different colors. Just all version colors, all it is. None of the designs or features are any different. I feel like his little paws, though. Does he have toe beans? He has toe beans. No, he has no toe beans. Missed opportunity. Do raccoons have toe beans? I don't know. Okay, we're almost done with page 2 here. This is Wanda Maximoff, also known as Scarlet Witch. Scarlet Witch was tortured in, I think, a Hydra base or something similar, until her powers manifested. Her powers, unlike her mutant father in some places, are not mutant, they're magic. She has the powers over chaos magic. Natural powers over chaos magic because of, well, I think it's supposed to be ancestry. I think ancestry gives you this witch, which means someone in her history was a witch. Since the time-string entanglement, chaos magic is one of the few forces holding the threads of reality together. Should her powers fail, the Scarlet Witch surely believes that this universe will disintegrate, along with everyone in it. It is the fate refuses allow. Now, this Scarlet Witch apparently is a sorceress supreme of her reality, so her version of Doctor Strange. Possibly a lot less destructive than MCU Wanda became. Oh, here it looks like Steven is reaching out to Wanda. So Steven, her dimension is dead. Ooh, the Darkhold's gone. She can get a Supreme outfit. So at this point, Steven is trapped inside the mirror dimension, and vampires have overtaken New York, and New York is in an endless night. Oh, Khonshu has Darkhold. Uh-oh, she's being corrupted by the Darkhold already. Hmm. So this one, the Maximoff, never had hold of the Darkhold and never became corrupted by it, unlike the ones in some comics and in the MCU. They're a different version. This is the one of Maximoff in this universe. Really is cute, like the freckles. This is her alternate color in Nyx Weaver. Olympus was harbored a mysterious goddess who embodied the starless, moonless night. She vanished into the embrace of chaos, leaving nothing but a dark cloak behind. I bet that's why it took me 5 whole pages of the Darkhold to barter it from Khonshu's grip. Moon Godless, or something like that. Okay. So, armor she got from Khonshu. Technically, just alternate colors. This is the actual alternate universe. This is MCU Wanda, mostly known from Multiverse Madness or WandaVision, when she creates this costume. She also has the coolest MVP in the game, honestly, one of them. Because this Wanda has been corrupted by the Darkhold. You'll notice, oh gosh, right. You notice her fingers are black, which is usually a sign of Darkhold corruption. Black magic from it. Everybody's favorite Spider-Butt. So we come in the middle of Dracula taking over. Oh, May's dead. Whoops. Oh, never mind. He just moved out. Never mind. Okay, so he asked to be held to help with the construction of the Times TRD with Reed and Tony, and they said no. When told him to go swing around the streets of web vampires. The hell? Is this gonna be Doctor Strange? Oh, this is the. Oh, this is gonna be Zero. Oh, she's gonna bring him over to 2099. So I'm guessing this Spider-Man also isn't in touch with the. Oh, what's the lady who like connects all Spider people? That's not the Master Reaver, is it? Because Master Reaver in this one looks like some ant person. What's her name? We just had a TV show or movie about her. I will figure it out later. So yeah, the Web of Destiny is that web thing that connects all Spider people. It allows them to connect through the multiverse sometimes. Johnny Storm, the Human Torch, is the one, hopefully not the one that just got disintegrated in freaking Deadpool. Oh my god, they should totally make that one of his skins when he comes into the game. Just the Human Torch Johnny Storm from Deadpool, that'd be amazing. They're a good team, young dummies. Blade finally showed up, nice. Yeah, you'd think the vampire hunter would be the one hunting vampires. I don't think Blade can be infected though, right? He's already half vampire. Blade's being gross. Ooh, Dracula. Indeed, a sinister voice responded. As Dracula himself stepped out of the shadows, his blood-red cape gently swayed in the breeze. Dracula, Johnny exclaimed, almost excited. Lord of Vampires had rarely left his castle since the night began. Big mistake showing your pasty face in public now. The Human Torch released an enormous burst of flame in Dracula's direction, but the Vampire King dodged out of the way, and at uncanny speed. Peter unloaded burst after burst of flaming towards Dracula as well, but fared no better. When it came to hitting his target, their foe was far too fast. Takes a vamp to beat a vamp, Blade said, raising both his swords as he pushed towards his new ally and between his new allies and lunged at Dracula. You speak true, Dracula responded as he unsheathed his two hornet swords that met Blade in combat, and since you are only half vampire, it is clear who shall claim victory. Sparks flew as metal flashed. For every thrust of Blade's weapon, Dracula had a perfect counterattack that left the vampire hunter growling with frustration. Despite Blade's undeniable combat skills, Spidey could see that Daywalker was outmatched. The hunter was about to become the prey if Peter didn't do something fast. Get ready to light it up, Johnny, Peter said. His fantastic friend nodded, knowing what to do next. As Peter launched another bombard as a web blast from his wristbands, Johnny produced a wall of flame directly in their path. As a dense ball of webbing passed through the flames, they instantly ignited. The burning projectiles impacted Dracula, setting his cape ablaze and distracting him for a mere moment. The moment Blade eagerly took advantage of. Nice seal you got there, Vlad, Blade said, kicking legendary sword from Dracula from his foe's hands. Think I'll add him to my collection. Blade quickly wrenched the smaller yet equally legendary blades from his undead king's claws. I shot your head to mine, Dracula snarled back. Even though he had been disarmed, Dracula still managed to dodge Blade's frenzies of attacks. While the two vampires clashed, Peter released a heavy spray riding at Dracula's feet, stopping him in his track for a moment. Just as Spidey swung and delivered a swift kick to Dracula's pointed teeth, the vampire turned himself into a black mist, freeing himself from the webs and sending Spidey soaring straight through him. Hey, Blade, let's show this jerk how we like our steaks. Blade grabbed a pair of sharp wooden spikes from his bandolier and hurled them through the air straight at Dracula's heart. Johnny lit up his sharp stakes with two quick bursts of flames as they hurtled towards the deadly destination. Well done, Dracula said as he used his lightning-fast reflexes to bat the burning snakes out of the sky split seconds before they could pierce his undead flesh. But I prefer my meat bloody. Dracula suddenly turned his attention back to Peter, leaping through the air and clutching the hero by the throat. And you will make the perfect appetizer. Dracula growled, lifting Peter into the air with one hand. Peter squirmed to break free of the vampire's grip, but to no avail. Peter could feel Dracula's fingertips tightening around his larynx. For once, the amazing Spider-Man was truly speechless. His vision began to cloud with darkness as he gasped for air. Dracula leaned in, his wings ready to sink into the sinew of Peter's neck. You don't want him. You don't want him. Peter's blade said, slicing the Dracula from behind with his sword. Dracula loosened the hold of Peter. And Peter slumped to the ground, gasping. It's me you're after. And it is you I shall have. Dracula said confidently. Everything that happened after was a blur. Peter tried to get back on his feet and back in the game, but he quickly realized that he never stood a chance against Dracula, even with Blade and the Human Torch on his side. The Lord of Vampire attacked Peter's friends ferociously, turning himself into a giant dragon-like Kraken, using a flap of his massive wings to extinguish the Human Torch's flames, knocking Johnny unconscious in the process. All Peter could do was watch helplessly Dracula's monstrous form swoop down and grab Blade in its claws, lifting the vampire hunter into the air. Despite his efforts, Blade couldn't manage to break free of Dracula's grip. The hideous creature passed in front of Blood Moon, and he dragged his prey back to the castle. As everything faded to black, Peter Parker wondered if maybe he should have gone through the portal after all. Interesting. So we have Blade being captured by Dracula, and we won't know the end of there because Blade is not in game yet. To everybody's favorite movie, our thick lady, and the one with the bounciest boobs in the game. Look, she's just bouncing right there. This shows that the jiggle physics that Fortnite was too scared to have exist in this game. But realistically. Possessing only the powers of a common squirrel. She's also super cute. I mean, look at that face. And she has a tail. Tails are cool. She's a computer science geek at Empire State University, has the powers of a squirrel and the powers of a girl. She talks to squirrels. Giant squirrel fell out of the sky here in Central Park. Sure. Because Mr. Hickory's gonna have to keep his nuts warm longer. Is her comic books just nut jokes? Is that what she is? Just nut jokes? Anybody read Squirrel Girl shit? Oh, called it Midgard. So she's from Asgard or Isgard? Because very few places call Earth Midgard. Ratatskor. The one known as Asgard. So the true home in the branch of the Isgard, the World Tree. Ratatskor, I know him. He was in God of War, right? Oh. So the one of the Dooms, possibly this Doom, and Dracula are teaming up, which isn't too hard to believe. The vampires are being taken out by freaking squirrels. Stand aside, child. This creature belongs to me. I wouldn't dream of it. I have far more important plans for that mangy beast. You, however, shall not be so fortunate. So swears Dracula. Oh, it is. My eternal legion.